looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that anything is worth it. Look around, the world is a circus, you're on blue. So provoking, I forgot to mention, are you joking? I need some attention, and nothing's working to change your direction. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you? Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. Why won't you hold my hand? Are you gonna deny this? Do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. When you're on blue, you keep everything inside of you. You try to play it cool. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. I don't know why you're confused. All you need is a little bit of attitude. Yeah. This is it. I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great. So why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Starting to enjoy the view. I'm all about the attitude. Who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you? Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. Paint away, day and night, 6 hearts, hope I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you dare. Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let the nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in panic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, yo. Let's go, people. Dude, what a fucking day, bro.
I'm afraid
Not the day, boss.
cling to what you're giving. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown.
How we doing?
Yeah.
Dude, grimy day. Grimy.
Paint away.
Day and night, sex, I hope I'm okay.
You're alright.
Goodbye then if you dare.
Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what
Pine box.
I think I will
Drown in pink. Yeah, 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 yeah.
is what I say. I feel far away.
Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Nothing.
Is what I say.
Yeah, I feel far away. Nothing.
Is what I think.
Nothing is what I think. Yeah, 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 yeah. I will drown in pink. Let's go. Yeah. Oh. Dude. Yeah, dude, the total that they want to spend on like detention is insane, isn't it? 45 billion on detention. Like, dude, what a waste. Like, even in Washington, they're spending like $1 million a day in DC with the National Guard to have those guys walk around and pick up trash. $1 million a day, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's such a waste, boss. Right? It's such a waste. Of course, today was pretty tragic. I'm gonna read my tweet today. Okay? Today I wrote a very long tweet that I feel like summed up what I think our real gun problem is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously we have a gun problem that's different from the rest of the world. There are other countries that have guns, and there are other countries that have mental illness, but we definitely have a gun problem, right? And sure, some of it is our cultural, like, you know, our bloodthirsty imperialism that's sort of embedded in our culture. The fact that America has always been like a genocidal and warring nation. Like, some of it is our DNA. Right? It is. It's our genetic trauma. But some of it is the guns, right? A significant portion of it is the guns, guys. It's literally just the guns. And what it is, you know, it's the mental illness that the guns create. Because believe me, guns create a specific style of mental illness. So I want to start by taking us through this tweet because I feel like this tweet is actually really important. And I feel like this tweet is really, it's not that long. It's really sort of prescient and it's important. The concepts in this tweet, I think, are important because I am telling you right now, guys, until we grapple with the stuff I talk about in this tweet and get real honest about it, we're not going to solve this issue. We're not even going to make any headway on this issue. We're just going to watch as more and more people get gunned down and die. Okay? And here's the tweet. You ready? I'm gonna read this. Here you go. Because I'm guaranteeing you, I guarantee you what I say in here is accurate. Okay. It says another mass shooting, and we're at the same stage we always are, where no one wants to talk about the guns. The right-wingers are all saying the person is trans, like they always do. The person most likely isn't, but even if they were, it wouldn't matter. It's the guns. That won't stop the right wing, though. They will continue to say the person is trans long after the shooting, whether it's true or not. and use this moment to further entrench their hatred for trans people and to obsess about the weird religious obsession with everyone else's sexual habits or gender feelings. Everything but the guns. And it seems like no one wants to address the mental health issues that guns cause. How a totally sane and rational person can pick up some guns, especially the high-powered assault rifles and the instant power afforded to them. The power to be able to walk into any room and fundamentally change the fabric of everyone's life in that room forever in an instant. And how that power can corrupt any person and give them a type of mental illness that only guns can cause. It's the guns. This is why guns are so unpredictable. People will say the shooter wasn't that type of guy. They're almost always guys. Or that he wasn't racist. They're almost always white. And yet, as soon as that powerful gun gets in their hands, they start to change. They get corrupted by having an instrument that gives them absolute power over life and death. That is too much power for humans to manage. And especially if they have other proclivities toward violence or unhealed traumas. Guns can foster a special kind of mental illness that affects the mental stability of people who possess them. A disease of power. Every person with a gun has the potential to misuse it because of the unpredictable way that much power affects people. Power corrupts. Guns are power. Guns corrupt. It's the guns. And the problem is that we refuse to talk about this aspect of gun ownership, of gun possessing, of the ability of the gun to possess the holder, of how dangerous that amount of power is for us humans. It's too much. We don't need that much power. It's not healthy for any of us. And until we are willing to talk about the power and corruptible influence guns can have on our mental stability, the power a gun in our hands could potentially have on any of us, well, until we get real and talk about that power, none of this is ever going to change. It's the guns. And I'm telling you guys, that shit in there, what I'm saying is that power over life or death that holding a gun affords the holder is where shit gets wacky. You know what I'm saying? You can be not mentally ill and you get a fucking assault rifle in your hands and you can be corrupted and make bad decisions. And this is why, like, good people go bad. It's why good cops pull the trigger when they shouldn't. It's why people pull the trigger when they shouldn't. It's why somebody buys a gun for protection and then next thing you know, they're using it to dominate others. I mean, and the people that stockpile them tend to get like a sense of paranoia and they, you know what I'm saying? If you look at people that really get deep into these conspiracies and they really get deep into these sort of 4chan things, a lot of them are they're gun hoarders. Okay. They start feeling unsafe. They start like padding their feelings of safety with these power inducing instruments and shit just goes haywire. The guns are an issue. You know what I'm saying? The guns, they're an issue. They're an issue in how much power they bestow upon the person holding them and how that power can easily corrupt any of us, man. Any of us. And I know we look at somebody who like uses a gun and we think that they're evil or they're bad and they're not, you know, they're not. I mean, there may be people that are devious, hateful, harmful criminals, but sometimes they're just people that are a little bit unstable and they get that much power and it fucks them up. You know, the same way that like a really good guy becomes a cop or a really good guy becomes a politician to like help the world. And once they get that power, they go bad. They get corrupted. You know, power is dangerous. I like that. Power corrupts. Guns are power. Guns corrupt. And we don't look at that. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at that. We look at as though like people can just carry them around without them having any influence over the person. And I'm telling you right now, guns have an influence over the person. It's like this. We refuse to talk about the aspect of gun ownership, of gun possessing, of the ability of the gun to possess the holder, right? The holder possesses the gun, but the gun also possesses the holder. And it's just dangerous. You know, the slightest bit of instability or rage issues in a person, you put a gun in their hand and like really unpredictable, harmful shit can happen. And I personally, guys, am so over the prayers thing, this response of like praying. It's like, fuck you to all the politicians, to all of the faith leaders that want to say that like you're praying. It's like, fuck you. You've been praying for fucking, decades, and it's not changing. Okay. Prayers are never going to end this. Okay. If prayers would end this, it would already be ended. Okay. People have been praying about this shit for hundreds of years, bro. Right? It's bullshit. We need to stop praying and we need some practical fucking action. Okay. And it's crazy because if like, you know what I'm saying? If one transgender person wins a medal, they will pass 500 laws regulating transgender people. If one transgender person uses the bathroom, 200 laws regulating transgender people. But 50,000 people a year can die from gunfire, and they refuse to pass any legislation. Okay? It says, shall not be infringed. Okay? Nobody wants to infringe. We're not going to take away your right. Your right is enshrined in the Constitution to have guns, but for the love of God, they should be well regulated, like it says. And right now, they're not well regulated. They're too easy to get. There's no safety requirements when you get one. Like you know how you can't drive a car without passing a test? You should have to pass some type of safety and mental health test in order to get a gun, right? If you don't take a class and pass a safety class to have a gun, you should not be able to have a gun, period. It should be a 3-month process to get a gun. That involves classroom instruction, a mental health evaluation, a background check, right? You know what I'm saying? Make it so it's like driving a car. So if you want to get behind the wheel of that lethal weapon, you have to like show some level of knowledge and safety, and you have to invest enough of yourself. You have to go out into public, into the classroom, and interact with an instructor and interact with fucking testing people, right? You just can't be like stuck in your 4chan gobbledygook conspiracy shit in a YouTube rabbit hole or a fucking message board, or you know what I'm saying? Right? You can't be alone in a dark room fucking, like purchasing guns online and shit. You should have to be out in the world and participating in, education and, training in order to have those weapons. And that makes total sense to me. There's no reason we can't have that shit, along with red flag laws and along with, you know what I'm saying? Along with, making sure people, domestic violence people or people with prior violent crimes don't have access, etc. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, though, I want to talk about something else. And I want to talk about something, guys, that the Melania Trump tweet, okay? I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but the Melania Trump tweet that clearly didn't come from her. It was clearly like a Heritage Foundation fucking employee or something that was on her account. But Guys, watch her tweet, okay? Melania's tweet, like, this is scary shit. Dude, kill her. Let's go, baby. It's good to see you, brother. But this tweet, guys, we need to be very afraid of, okay? Okay, especially with, like, the tech bros and the Palantir and all our data. Now, shortly after the shooting, this tweet appeared on Melania Trump's Twitter profile. Now, Melania, she did not write this, okay? I guarantee you, we've heard her speak. She did not write this, okay? This is using language that she did not write. This tweet came from a staffer, or I think it's a Heritage Foundation employee. But look at this tweet, okay? It says, the tragic mass killing in Minnesota illuminates the need for preemptive intervention in identifying potential school shooters. Ruminate on that, guys. Preemptive intervention in identifying potential school shooters. Pre-crime. Yeah, that's highly unethical, but it gets weirder. You ready? Early warning signs are often evident, with many individuals exhibiting concerning behaviors and making violent threats online prior to their actions. To prevent future tragedies, it is crucial we look into behavioral threat assessments across all levels of society, beginning in our homes, extending through school districts, and of course, social media platforms. Being aware of these warning signs and acting quickly can save lives and make American communities safer. Now, first off, we got the M-dash in here. So clearly this is like a ChatGPT, Heritage Foundation employee with ChatGPT. But think of the ramifications of this, guys. Okay? Think of the ramifications of them using AI tools to troll social media, message boards, emails across all levels of society, beginning in our homes, going through school districts and social media platforms, crawling the internet, looking for what they consider to be preemptive early warning signs. Think about how fucking dangerous that is. With them deciding, oh, look, they look at my tweets, right? You ready? Like, check this out, guys. They go to my page and are like, oh, you've got a picture of Donald Trump in JFK's car, right? Some picture, some AI picture you found on the internet. They're like, you're a danger. You're a danger. And then they're at my door and they drag me out of my house and put me in prison, even though I've done nothing, okay? Or if you say something like, you know, I can't wait until Trump is fucking no longer with us. They're like, whoop, that's a threat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with the fact that we have Palantir collecting data and they're incorporating all this AI shit at every level of government, them wanting to monitor all of our communications so they could decide who is and isn't exhibiting preemptive early warning signs, that would just be a way for them to scan your social media and for whatever reason they decide, come and arrest you because you're a potential threat. Now think about this, guys. Now, how would this get abused? Okay, how could this get abused? Well, let me show you how it could get abused, right? Let me show you. You ready? I'm going to show you right here. Look at this shit. The same people that are like consider a sandwich being thrown as like a capital crime and want to give somebody 30 years in prison for throwing a hoagie or 30 years in prison for keying a Tesla. Those people are going to abuse a technology like that, right? Because they're literally saying anything you do that really pisses me off, I'm going to give you a maximum sentence. Right? Because clearly keying a Tesla does not deserve any jail time. And especially after the owner of Tesla pays $280 million to fuck us all and take away our rights and take all our data and then you go key a fucking car and they think you deserve 30 years? Like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? These people are insane. Look at libs at TikTok here. A grand jury has declined to indict the former DOJ employee who threw a sandwich at a federal officer. Of course the grand jury declined to indict them because it's not assault, 𝗙𝗃𝗍𝗃, you fucking dumb bitch, right? That ain't assault. That's a massive overreaction from a bunch of fascist clowns, okay? You know what I'm saying? But these are the people that now are talking about doing preemptive threat assessment, which means like what? If I go to Subway, they're going to come and fucking arrest me, right? Oh, you went to Subway. You are potentially a sandwich assassin, right? Yeah, you're out. We're taking you away. Dude, you know what I mean? I mean, dude, how crazy is that, guys? How crazy is that? That is fucking crazy. It is absolutely fucking insane, bro. It is. You know what I mean? That shit is insane. Okay? Right? This idea of like trying to preemptively assess threats. Like, bro, that is like just absolutely outrageous. It is one of the more outrageous things I have ever heard, you know? And this concept is so dangerous. You know, it's so dangerous. But guys, this is what the Trump admin wants. Okay? This is what the Heritage Foundation wants. They want to be able to arrest you for whatever reason they decide. They want to be able to take everyone that they find undesirable and they want to be able to put them into a prison system or a work camp system or an immigration camp system or whatever, a relearning, a conversion camp system. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be able to pick and choose who they consider threats. And you already can see who they'd be after, right? Obviously, like anybody who responds in a protesting or problematic way. You protest, you burn a flag, you refuse to instantly like disperse when a cop tells you to, they whisk you up. Right? Or Shiloh makes a great point here. Anybody who is transgender, they want to immediately remove. Right? Anybody who's LGBTQ and participates in a pride, celebration, or who hangs a pride flag anywhere where children are around, right? That to them is like an arrestable offense. If you're a Democrat, if you say anything bad about Christianity, or about Donald Trump, or about the regime, they want you gone, okay? I believe that anybody who makes a rape accusation, they would like to put away and put in jail and make disappear. Certainly all the immigrants or anyone who defends immigrants or is nice to immigrants or who protects immigrants, all gone. They want everybody who is of color that doesn't meet their standard of genetic value, gone. If you don't want to have kids, they probably would love to put you in a facility, right? If you don't want to have kids, if you refuse to participate in their nuclear family, Christian fucking, whatever, heterosexual bullshit, you know what I mean? I mean, think about this, guys. Think about the shit we've seen with them attacking free speech, okay? If you say anything bad about America, they want to fucking off with your head, right? If you even like acknowledge the true history of America, right? Like the people who say slavery is bad, they're like, nope, you're not allowed to say slavery is bad. Off you go to the work camp. Like we know, yes, we know the MAGA cult, exactly what Cam says right there. MAGA cult supports government agents in unmarked van wearing masks with no badges, no proper ID, no need to even show their ID. Those mass marauders are allowed to grab people off the street violently, put them in cars with no license plates, and take them wherever. And they are totally okay with that. They are totally okay with those masked marauders making the decision of who they pick up. And what do those guys say? Right? What do those guys say? You ready? Let's find the one, the ICE guy who said about liberals. You ready? Watch this video right here. You ready? Watch this video. This is the video right here, okay? When they said to the ICE agent, the mask guy, look at this, car with no license plate. Watch this.
Yo, let's see some badge. Yo, let's see some badge work. Boys, let's see some badge work.
Do I have to answer to you? You gotta answer to somebody.
So, wait, so you guys are just masked? We're just masked up?
Who are you?
Who are you?
See that? He asked for a badge and the guy says, do I have to answer to you? It's like, you sure as fuck do. You're servants of our fucking public. We pay your goddamn fucking wages. You fucking smarmy piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Guys.
I don't care, my guy.
You don't care what agency?
You don't care.
Bro, what agency you guys with? Are you guys working for the U.S. government or not?
Back the fuck up.
Can I see some badge work,
Back
sir?
up.
Sir, can I see some badge?
Is the camera on? Is your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? You guys are ruining this country, and the fucking ICE agent said liberals already ruined it. So that shows you who they really want to be locking up, guys. Okay? It's not even about the immigrants. It's about the liberals. It's about the people that don't agree with these fucking overweight pieces of trash, right? That's what it is about. It's about the liberals. They want to put liberals into fucking jail. If these guys, if Donald Trump told these guys, you can arrest all the liberals and go take them into a fucking fenced area and bash their fucking heads, you know these guys would do it. I know these guys would do it. These guys are itching to fucking do that, bro. That's a problem. Right? Combine that with Melania's little pre-crime thing, little preemptive intervention in identifying potential school shooters. Dude, really? Really? Dude, yeah, a crisis is a great word. We are already in a crisis of policing.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can we see some badge work, guys?
His property?
Hey, guys.
already ruined it. No number, no ID, no name.
This is a democratic process. It looks like it. Can we see some badge work?
Already ruined the country.
Okay, man, can we see some badge work before you go?
Tell on yourself, you know that, right?
Can we see some badge numbers?
Hey,
Can
sorry.
we get the plates, bro?
See, every law enforcement officer in America, you got to show a badge number, and you have to fucking, if the person asks for your superior, you got to get them. These guys, we don't even know who's leading this shit. They grab people, they put them in cars with no license plates, they're masked, they won't fucking show a badge number, they don't even have badges. When they ask for them, they're like, we don't answer to you. Who do you answer to? No comment. And then when it's like, goddamn, dude, you guys are dangerous, you're ruining the country. And they're like, no, the liberals ruin the country. And it's like, fuck you, bro. The liberals are the only people in this country right now that are patriots. The MAGA shitheads supporting this kind of Nazi Gestapo bullshit. You're not patriots. You MAGA shitheads, you're fascist fucking turds, bro. All right? You guys are not. They are not patriots. Okay? They are not.
Get the front plate.
There is no front point.
Oh, weird.
Oh, so you guys, is this legal?
Yeah, good question. Is it legal?
Hey, man, can we see some badge work?
Yeah, can we get your badge number? Here you go, my guy. Oh, you are right. Okay.
Dude, isn't that crazy? Dude, that shit is nuts, bro. Right? That shit is nuts, dude. Unfucking believable. Dude, and look at this shit, dude. Dude, look at that shit. They're like, it's a delivery worker. They're violently attacking that guy, fucking tasing him. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Fuck, you alright, dude? No. Hey, pull Chris off. Pull Chris off.
Fuck this.
Yo,
Dude,
hey, yo, stop.
What the fuck are they doing, bro?
Get out the city.
Bro, get out of our city.
Dude, you see that shit? Like, dude, what are we doing, bro? You know what I mean? This is fucking crazy. This is like, dude, that guy with his fucking fist down there. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? It's like zero training. And these are the guys right before the liberal dudes. I think these are the same guys. Dude, yeah. I mean, you got to wonder at this point, right? You got to wonder at this point, like, it's almost like exercising your 2A rights is protecting yourself. You know? You know what I mean? I mean, at some point, someone is going to exercise their 2A rights and protect themselves from these guys. And then there's going to be a fucking monster fucking court case, bro. Because, you know, the 2A rights, it seems to me, defending yourself from a gang of masked, badgeless, license plateless fucking people is going to be like, that seems legit. If 5 guys in masks try to grab me, it's going to be a 2A scenario, you know? I mean, dude, if 5 guys try to kidnap me, I'm allowed to exercise my 2A rights. Dude, this shit is crazy, bro. I don't carry guns though, FYI, just so you know. I don't. I'm not a gun carrier at the moment. But yeah. So this is why, you know, we don't need to be going down this route. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, like what Groove and a couple people have said in chat. When we look at this one, when we look at the violent takedown right here with these guys, is like these guys, the whole group, when they're fucking attacking and punching, these guys are not trained. Okay? There are techniques to subdue somebody non-violently. Okay? There are techniques for that. These guys have no training. You can tell that these guys have had no training. They're none. They don't know what they're doing. They're fumbling around out there, just winging it, using too much force, not using like leverage, not using the person they're trying to take down. Like, it's like Aikido. You're supposed to use the perpetrator that you're trying to arrest. You use their weight and balance against them. So you don't have to struggle with them. You just get them moving and you allow their momentum to like lead the fucking takedown. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to like get into these battles with this shit. But like that face punch, dude, this guy right here with the fucking face punch, like you're going to see it right there. Dude, like this guy, dude, what is that, bro? Did you see that? A straight fucking like, what is that? That is fucking like assault. You know what I'm saying? That's like a 1st-degree assault, man. The fuck are these guys doing, bro? Right? You know what I mean? Dude. Yeah, these guys are fucking clowns, bro. Shit is brutal. It's these guys, too. And what's nuts about this? What's nuts about this is we don't even know we don't even know if the guys that they grabbed are like undocumented. You know, there have been citizens that have been picked up here and interned. This is crazy shit, guys. You know, so I'm telling you right now, this shit right here that, you know, the Heritage Foundation and ChatGPT tweeted from Melania Trump's account, this is never going to happen. Okay? If they do this, every Democrat, every non-MAGA person, every non-Christian person in America is going to be in jeopardy of ending up in prison for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'll be one of the first people to go, man. They will come and look at my fucking Twitter for 5 minutes, dude. I'll be in prison like Nelson fucking Mandela. Dude, yeah. Dude, it's dystopian. Okay? It is, dude. So yeah, man. Now, here's what's crazy though, guys. You ready? Okay, so check this out. So today, multiple people die in Minnesota, but look at this, dude. Trump shut down all the school mental health programs. Trump's shut down the neighborhood anti-violence programs. Everything that was in the 2022 gun bill, okay? Mental health and anti-violence, gun prevention programs, Trump defunded all of that, okay? He defunded all of it, all right? He did. And what does he do? He's been spending his week with the National Guard carrying trash bags around D.C., not in crime-ridden neighborhoods, mind you. The National Guard in D.C. have been at the National Mall. They've been in Georgetown. There's no fucking crime in Georgetown. They've been by the museums and the Washington Monument. They haven't even gone into the neighborhoods where supposedly crime is high. They haven't been there at all. They're doing a spectacle, picking up trash and milling around with guns, taking over Union Station. It's all bullshit. Meanwhile, he's actually defunding programs that help prevent this shit. And now shootings and hate crimes and domestic violence is way up. Shootings and all this other shit are going way up. You know what I'm saying? You know?
The reality is, study after study shows that the way you actually reduce violence in the long term is invest in young people and invest in people who don't have means. Donald Trump just announced that he's cutting the Job Corps program that invests in at-risk youth to get them
Show
jobs.
me a city where it's worked.
Let me finish, please. Medicaid, he's slashing. Medicaid expansion shows to reduce violence up to 10%.
Absolutely.
He cut $4.5 billion from early youth education intervention programs. These are the things that in the long term...
Look at these guys. He's laughing. He's laughing at this. Like money in actual prevention, because they don't want prevention. They want to drive people to the point, to the brink of insanity. And then the minute they fuck up and do something reactionary, they want to put them in the prison and enslave them in the fucking slavery system of the U.S. prison system.
Make all of us safer.
So
he's cutting people off at their knees before they even have a chance. So if he were serious, he would be investing in our future. That's how you reduce violence. The reality is, study after study.
You know what I mean? Dude, yeah, these guys are crazy, right? Just crazy shit. Dude, I like this guy, though, dude. Let's fucking go, dude. I hadn't seen him before. That guy's a good speaker. I like that guy, right? You know what I mean? Dude, fucking, this shit is nutty, boss. I don't know. I'm pissed. All right, let's take a look at the shooting. The shooting was tragic. I downloaded the video. All right, the shooter's video. I don't know if necessarily like reveling in this shit is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I did download this video that was pulled, but I don't know that I'm going to watch it. I mean, I may watch it off stream and may like zero in on a couple things. I think, yeah, see, the thing that's hard is it's really, I mean, performative's a good word, okay? It was performative. It was like really on the nose, you know what I'm saying? And really like way over the top, okay? Way over the top, you know? Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of Nazi references, and this is what's so confusing, okay, about this, because obviously all the right-wing people went right to like transgender. That's where they always go. And then they started lying about all these shooters being trans. But what's so confusing is the person transgender, really? But they're also homophobic. They're also anti-Semitic. They're also like anti-Donald Trump. They're, you know what I mean? You'd be hard-pressed to find like anything that there's no consistent ideology, okay? There's no consistent ideology with them whatsoever. You think they're a D-trans person? I mean, they didn't look like in active transition. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they definitely like didn't look like they were fucking living in the process of transitioning, you know? Now, obviously somebody who is the type of person that like was writing all that shit on the gun, it's possible that they had a lot of like confusion about who they were or what they were that had nothing to do with like being cisgender or transgender, right? I mean, clearly their ideology was like all over the map. Anti-Semitic, anti-Trump, homophobic, supposedly trans, right? It's like, it was almost like they were so separated from reality that they just became everything and nothing all at once, that person. So something there was like a high degree of mental illness that wasn't just a fucking trans person or just an angry racist. You know what I mean? It felt like a deep mental illness with some rage issues and a lot of like red pill pipeline stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? I mean, because it's the rage issues. And I did read some of the note where they were like, hey, mom and dad, like you did a really good job. I'm just really fucked up. Like there was a lot of pain and confusion and a lot of like hopelessness. You know what I'm saying? And like sociopaths though would do that kind of shit, would be empathizing with their parents while simultaneously being without feeling, you know, because obviously with all the shit that was written on the gun, either they believe that shit or they were just doing it to like create a stir, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if they're filled with a rage and a desperation and a hopelessness, I mean, what better way to make a stir than to just leave an impossible to solve puzzle, right? You'll be talking about that person for a year, right? I mean, and a lot of that goes on with these people is they, you know, when somebody like has a schism like that and they're cracking, they're like trying to create some type of notoriety or something, you know? And so I don't know, man. I don't think watching the video and reveling in that is going to be helpful, especially since that video was like what I did watch of it. I watched a handful of 15-second clips. And one thing I noticed from watching that video is the person who made that video was going out of their way to like provide you a manifesto type video experience, right? They were like going out of their way to try and send a confused message and posturing right? Yeah, it was really, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It was super performative, right? But all right. So anyway, let's go to the YouTube though. Let's go to YouTube and see if we can watch a little bit of coverage and get a snippet here. All right. I mean, tragic shooting. Why are we always engaging in this type of situation? Well, so that's a complicated one, okay? Because I tweeted about that too, guys. And a lot of people were pissed about my tweets about this, but I had some things to say about this because this type of shit, right? It comes up. You know what I'm saying? Right? Where like Trump's America, there's always an increase in violence. There's always an increase in hate crimes. There's an increase in domestic violence. And a lot of it is because of his overly aggressive leadership style. He uses nothing but aggression. It's always threats and leverage and attacks and brutality and unfeeling and compassionless. And that type of leadership creates a climate that feeds that type of energy, you know? And so violence and shit goes up under Trump, and it always does. You know what I'm saying? It always does. It's like this, right? Here's what I wrote about it. It says, every time Trump is in office, there is more violence. It's because he's such a vindictive and rotten piece of trash who relishes in using violence. He relishes in using it in the ICE raids. Look at how they want to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, okay? Because defense is too weak for them. They want war, Department of War, right? They want to over-police, okay? His stupidly aggressive nature breeds this type of violence. Happened last term too. There's more deadly attacks, more DV, more hate crimes. You can't lead by attacking your own citizens incessantly and then expecting the general public to respond any differently. But I think this is really says it all, guys. Okay? The fact that they want to change the Department of Defense and they want to name it the Department of War because defense in their eyes is weak. They want war. Okay, they want war on the streets with ICE. They want war in the courts with fucking people being thrown in jail. They want war in immigration with dragging people by their hair out of the country. They want war against Cracker Barrel for changing the logo or being woke. They want to destroy the company. They want war with transgender people to prevent them from being able to exist. They want war with Democrats by putting them in jail and silencing them, preventing them from voting. It's like war, 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 war. And when you have leaders that have that type of energy of desiring war and they relish violence and they relish taking power over other people, those types of leaders, they offload that. And people that have a proclivity to behave in that type of violent way are going to express it. It's going to come out, right? If you have somebody that is like on the cusp of a rageful episode and you lead with rage and aggression and violence and, you know, seeking to cause harm, you're going to influence them to go the rage route. It's just how it works, right? Whenever we're around people, you know what I'm saying? When we're around people, it's like you can either be pushing them towards like aggression and you know, or you can be pushing them like moving them towards de-escalation. In any given situation, guys, you're either escalating or de-escalating. That's it. There's no other option. If there's a situation, if there's somebody's on edge, you can either de-escalate it or escalate it. Okay? And Trump and his cronies, they're escalators. Always. They are always escalating. That's always what they want to do. Instigate, escalate, fucking antagonize. And that causes this type of shit, dude. It really does, man. It really does, dude. It's sad, bro. All right, let's see what we got here. Now, I want to watch the mayor. The mayor had a talk, okay? And some people were really pissed about the mayor. So we should fucking watch the mayor. All right? Because I saw people mad at the mayor because the mayor said, right? The mayor said, like, I don't want any prayers, okay? And all right, we're gonna fucking come back to that one. But he initially made a statement about fucking, not wanting prayers. All right, here it is. We're gonna watch this one. And people were mad, okay? But I agree. Dude, no more prayers, okay? We need prayers out of government. If you want to pray, you want to be a Christian, you want to believe that, devote your whole private life to that. Wear your crosses, go to church, tithe, you know what I mean? Bang the Bible, do it all, right? Whatever. I support it, okay? But I don't want you solving our gun violence problem with prayers. I don't want you telling me you're going to pray for me when I need health care. And I don't want you making laws based on your fucking book. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no fucking way that we need to get the prayers and the religious people the fuck out of government and out of lawmaking. Okay? You can believe it and do it and be it and love it and live it up. Right? But, not in the lawmaking, and no more trying to solve real world issues with your fucking prayers. No more. Okay? No more.
All of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Absolutely. Again, guys, you ready? Hold on. I just want to take you through something real quick here, guys. All right, let me just show you. I just want to show you something here. Okay, look. We have a little chart. Look at this chart. Okay? 2,800 non-trans attacks. Okay? 3, now maybe it's 4 trans shooters. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this chart up is forget about the numbers. The point is whether this non-trans is 2,000 or 20,000, you will never see people say, you know what? We need to cisgendered people have a violence problem and we need to not let cisgender people be out in the world. You're never going to see that. No matter this could say 20,000 and they would never judge all the cisgendered people. The same with white. 98% of mass shooters are white. And nobody ever says, you know what? We got to make sure white guys don't get guns anymore because white guys clearly have a problem with mass murder. They never say that. Okay. But the minute one transgender person commits a crime, they are like, wow, we got to do something about this trans problem. And that's where the bigotry is, because it doesn't matter if there's a trans shooter. There's going to be some trans shooters and white shooters and black shooters and Hispanic shooters and women shooters and male shooters and non-binary shooters and gay shooters and straight shooters. The reality is there's going to be all kinds. There may be autistic shooters. There may be mentally ill shooters, but that doesn't mean the whole group. If a trans person commits an act of violence, that does not reflect on all trans people. okay? If a white guy commits an act of violence, that does not reflect on all fucking guys, okay? You know what I'm saying? I mean, but we don't do that, right? Like, white guys like me can commit as many crimes as possible, and nobody will ever say, yeah, you got to keep those old white guys away from the guns and away from the money and away from the children and away from the whatever. They never say that. But, you know, one person of color, one transgender individual, right? One, like, special needs person, a disabled person does something, and it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And like, we got to stop that. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop that, right?
We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids. All of us.
Yeah, right? And I mean, look at this shit, though. Look at what it's undermined with, right? Is like, we have fucking, you know, this guy saying, hey, let's moderate and not give hate. And then Benny Johnson is saying the trans movement is radicalizing people into being violent terrorists who target children. Look at what Benny is doing, dude. Like, what the fuck is this? This is the same Benny who targets young men at TPUSA conferences, takes them into hotel rooms for a little rub-a-dub-dub. Fucking Benny and the young man in a tub. You know what I mean? But look at this shit, bro. Benny's like going the opposite route, who is like, oh my God, dude, right? If somebody's transgender, it's like now the trans movement has radicalized that individual into specifically targeting children, like violent terrorists. Like, dude, Benny is a fucking cock-knocking piece of shit, bro. You know what I mean? That is not okay, man. That shit is not okay. All right, let's see what he had to say later on CNN.
When you talk about compassion, I don't want to tiptoe around the edge of this, but, you know, the shooter's name was in question, the gender of the shooter. No one's really sure what's going on there. 5 years ago it was Robert, then a name changed to Robin. Okay. This is being seized in all corners, as you can imagine, in all sorts of ways. And you know that, Mayor. And perhaps that's why when you spoke about this so profoundly and powerfully as you are even here now, but when you spoke about this today publicly, you voiced concern for the transgender community, for the community overall. And obviously you chose to do that in that moment because you thought it was important. And I wanted to give you a chance to say why you felt it was important to do that in that moment.
Obviously, I've heard about the rhetoric and the narrative that is being pushed out, but here's the thing. Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity. We got to be operating not out of hate for any group, but out of a love for our children. That's where the focus needs to be right now. A love for our kids. Seeing these kids, not just as somebody else's kids, this horrific thing happened, but what if it was our own? How would we feel then? So, look, we need to be standing up for every community out there. A Catholic community, too, by the way. I mean, any community that suffers this kind of blow, our Minneapolis community, you got to stand up for them. But, you know, I feel oftentimes in these instances there's this desire to villainize a group. You want to call this an act of cowardice? Do it, because it is. But regardless of what group or background, gender, you know, the bottom line is that kids got killed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really a good point. It doesn't matter if the shooter was transgender or black or white or a woman or a guy. I mean, we know that shooters are like 99 out of 100 times practically, they're men, right? But that doesn't mean we walk around saying men shouldn't be able to carry guns, right? Or all men are mentally ill because they commit way more violent crime than any other group, right? You know what I mean? I mean, we can look at like proclivities and try to address that. You know, try to address like, wow, a whole bunch of men right? White men are 50% of the population, and they commit 98% of the mass shootings. So that number doesn't really match there. That means, like, yeah, there's something about going on with white men that they're not able to handle their rage. And you know what I'm saying? And so, like, obviously, but again, the problem is those right wingers that are weaponizing this shit, they don't even want to stop the shootings, guys. They don't want to pass any gun laws. They don't want to pass responsible measures or fund preventative shit. They don't, right? They don't. Like, Benny Johnson doesn't want to stop shootings. He wants to, like, eradicate trans people. They don't even care about the shooting. They're just like, wow, this is an opportunity for us to demonize trans people and try to convince everybody that the left wingers are some radical movement that are going to turn their kids into killers. And then they're hoping they can get some political power out of the deal. They don't even want to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, it's the same with sports, right? They don't want to help transgender people fit into society and be able to be normal kids. They want to tell trans kids they're not trans. They want to establish to the world that trans people don't exist, that they're all an aberration. And, like, they don't give a shit about sports. If you look at the people who talk about transgender participation in sports and protecting women, they're the same fucking people that will denigrate the WNBA or who will tweet something like a high school fucking athlete could beat any woman in any sport. They literally are the same goddamn people. They hate women, okay? They don't give a fucking shit about women or women's sports. They belittle it, they clown it, they're disgusted by it. And they just use it as an opportunity to further their agenda of, like, their disgust and the hate they have for trans people, which is really, I think it's more about them. It's about them being concerned about their own personal ramifications if they are attracted to a woman that also might have a penis. I think that fucks these people up. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. They're like, they're starting to, like, be attracted to people that may or may not have penises, and it's causing them some personal distress. But dude, just embrace the penis, you know? I mean, like, get it over with. It's like, shit, dude, don't be afraid of it.
Let's love each other more. Let's love each other more, because the antidote to hate is not more hate. Hurt people, and the antidote to hate is a whole lot more love. That's where we all need to be going right now.
Well, Mayor Fry, I'm grateful to you for taking the time and sharing that. And thank you. Thank you.
Dude, see, I'm going to commend him, though, for at least fucking speaking up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not being like a Democrat to avoid this shit. Because all I can say, guys, is it was gross. Okay? Like, for example, everybody, like, like fucking this idiot, Liz, whatever, Churchill, dude, this fucking dumb bitch, right? She posted some shit right here, right? Dude, this is a lie. This is a lie. All these shooters were not fucking transgender. Like, what is she even talking about? This is fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? They're literally just saying every shooter now is fucking transgender. Like, dude, what is even going on? This is fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then look at this guy said, all right, let's go there. And look at this guy. Like, he did a whole thing. Look at all the white males. Oh shit, bro. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're literally lying now. Every single shooter now they say is a fucking transgender shooter. They're just spreading this shit. Dude, it's fucked up, bro. But dude, yeah. The shit is fucking lying. But they're just like posting all this fake shit. You know? Dude, yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. All right, so I want to watch a fucking, I feel like we should watch one regular news report and see get the gist of it. All right, what do we got? Should we watch the latest details? This one will probably be good, right? Right? Yeah, I guess we'll watch the latest details. We'll watch a little CBS News.
Children are dead. There are families that have a deceased child. You cannot put into words the gravity, the tragedy, or the absolute pain of this situation.
I'm Meg Oliver. This is CBS News 24/7. We continue to follow breaking news from the scene of a mass shooting at a church in Minneapolis. The attack took place at the Annunciation Church, where students and staff from the parish school next door had gathered for morning mass to kick off the new school year. Police say a shooter dressed in all black arrived at the church and began firing into the church through windows at those who were praying inside.
During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside on the side of the building and began firing a rifle through the church windows.
Jesus.
Towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass.
It's brutal.
Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping.
At least 17 people were injured, 14 of whom are children. 2 students were killed, 8 and 10 years old, and multiple are in critical condition. The gunman was reportedly found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. CBS News senior coordinating producer for crime and public safety, Anna Schechter, joins me now.
Dude, that's crazy. Of course it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I'm going to set a dance party goal because we may need to lighten it up around here. Dude, I'm going to do it for 45 minutes. Dude, that shit is nuts. To be shooting through the fucking window, you know what I mean? Like, that's so cold. And kids are praying, right? They're fucking praying, bro. You know, so much for prayers. Clearly praying is fucking... is not helpful. Scorpio, take care, boss. All right, Scorpion. Yeah, prayers obviously are not fucking helping anybody, right?
Details coming out of this are just absolutely heartbreaking. An 8 and 10-year-old didn't make it. You've been following the very latest. What else do we know?
Well, we know that 10 or at least 10 children are in critical condition at this time, and we are awaiting news for more children to be released from the hospital. When it comes to the shooter, the gunman, we understand that the shooter's name was legally changed back in 2020 from Robert to Robin Westman, and it appears that the shooter's mother had worked at the school in previous years. So we're piecing together a connection. Law enforcement tell us that this shooter appears to have had a grievance related to the school.
See, it's weird because I hate to say this, guys, and this is just too many years of being around this shit, but anytime there's a religious school and a person connected to that school goes and shoots it up, the first thing I always think about is that somebody was molested, that they were molested, right? At Nashville shooting, Covenant School, that was the undertone with that the person who shot up the Covenant School was like kids had been molested there and they fucking went in. Somebody who had been sexually abused went in and just tore the fucking place up, and then it got all hushed. because child sexual abuse is like rampant. It is so goddamn rampant. It's unfucking real. And so the minute this shit happens, that is always the first thing that came to my mind. If you have a grievance toward a religious school. Yeah, well, so, I mean, dude, you got to just remember when people take out their grievance, they're not rational, boss. You know what I'm saying? When you say, why target the students, people who rage and fucking kill in response to that rage don't like, well, let me rationally think about how best to express my rage. No, they just go and create rage in the environment. You know what I mean? It's like they're never clean about it. You know, it's not like a personal revenge. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, what's crazy about it is you go so far, they could even be thinking in their eyes that if the kids were to not survive, it would be a blessing for them because then they wouldn't be getting abused like they were, right? And I mean, people who do this kind of shit are not of sound mind. You know, you got to think about like the same way that they are in like conspiracy theories, right? People will come up with these conspiracies that are so irrational. And yeah, like, I mean, in general, you know, what Brumorin is saying there, I mean, it would be nice if we had access to mental health care and if we could make our culture something that allows people, you know, to express themselves in a way that allows them to learn how to regulate their emotions, how to be emotionally intelligent. There's like emotional intelligence that you can adopt that helps you work through triggers and rage and rash decisions, but we don't foster a climate of like healthy emotional intelligence. We don't, man. We do not. We, in fact, I mean, you look at like somebody like Donald Trump, he is the president and he is one of the least emotionally intelligent people out there. He's vindictive and petty and snarky and reactionary and he overreacts and he's bitter and he can't let go of shit. I mean, that's a perfect example. And he gets revered for being a bully and for being you know what I'm saying? For being a bully and for being a fucking, you know, a short-tempered, like dysregulated emotional mess. He gets revered. You know, people laugh at that. They love it. They respect that. And then if you actually regulate your emotions and you manage them, they call you like a beta or they call you a fucking wuss or you like say you're a woman or some shit, right? We just have this like this nastiness where anybody who is emotionally regulated and actually gets in touch with their feelings and their vulnerabilities get belittled in our society. And so you wonder why these fucking people snap, you know? You know what I mean?
But those details are very vague right now. We're still waiting to pin that down. There are social media videos that have been posted that appear to have been posted by the gunman prior to this attack, and our CBS News Confirmed team is reviewing all of that. So this is very fluid right now in terms of all the information that's coming in.
As you try to piece that connection together, any idea whether he was targeting the church or the school, or do we not know that yet?
We don't have that pinned down, but certainly the messages were of a suicidal nature, showing signs of mental health struggles and really grievances, not necessarily just towards the school, but towards different populations. So we are still working through. There's quite a bit of material online that we're going through right now.
And what happens next in this investigation?
Well, of course, the shooter's laptop, cell phones, any electronic device that was used will be looked through, will be recorded. Any interaction that this person had with others, did other people know about this and did other people aid this attack? We're also waiting to hear on where those weapons were obtained. This person was armed with 3 weapons, including a semi-automatic rifle, which the shooter used in this attack. But there were
it's easy as shit though to get those fucking weapons.
the shooter also used
Go to a
two
gun
other
show.
weapons. So this was absolutely premeditated, and the police, you heard there say this was premeditated and targeted attack.
Yeah, absolutely devastating. Anna Schechter, as always, thank you so much.
See, what's crazy about it too is like all the people that survived that shit, like they're gonna need years of therapy, and I bet many of them aren't even gonna get it. Like many of the people that survived this shit aren't even gonna get therapy. Can I show you a post from one of the Parkland parents? Okay, you know Fred, right? He's the father of somebody who died at Parkland, right? Fred Gutenberg. You remember this guy from Parkland, Florida? So this guy minced no words. Okay, Kristi Noem said, "We have confirmation that the shooter at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis was a 23-year-old man claiming to be transgender." Okay, she led with the transgender. This deranged monster targeted our most vulnerable, young children praying in their first morning of Mass of the school year. This deeply sick murderer scrawled the words "for the children" and "where is your God" and killed Donald Trump on a rifle magazine. This level of violence is unthinkable. Our deepest prayers are with the children, parents, families, educators, and Christians everywhere. We mourn with them, we pray for healing, and we will never forget them. And look at what Fred Gutenberg, who lost his child, okay, in a shooting, said. "Fuck you, Kristi Noem. The idea that you would bring the transgender status up without mentioning the fucking fact that the shooting required a gun is despicable. The shooter who killed my daughter in Parkland was MAGA, just like you. Both shootings would not have happened but for bloodthirsty scum of the earth like you." Right? And remember, what do we have? We had Kristi Noem. Remember how she's posing with rocket launchers and with all those weapons? Dude, he laid into her. And he was like, "Fuck you. It has nothing to do with transgender. The shooter who killed my daughter was MAGA. It was one of your people." Right? And it's like, it's the gun that they had in common. Right? And why don't you do something instead of your prayers and your fucking bullshit, dude? Fred went nuts, bro. I like it. I said, Parkland parent minces no words for the xenophobic adulterers behind DHS. He's right, too. These MAGA fucks won't do anything to solve problems. They just want to attack the marginalized, right? That's what they want to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? But of course, everybody here is trying to, like, dude, fucking Asmongold blaming. Let's look at this clip, dude. I don't even want to watch this. It's probably so dumb.
Like, I'll just say it the way it is. A lot of people might not like this. That's why I'm going to do it.
Yeah, of course, because you're a fucking... Dude, this guy is so trashy. He's so ignorant, too.
The amount of, like, LGBT people that very openly and just brazenly advocate for and celebrate violence against people that don't acknowledge their lifestyle as being legitimate needs to be zero. The amount of people that should be doing that on social media, the goal number of that should be zero. And right now it's socially tolerated in a way that I think is completely unacceptable.
Dude, what an asshole. Did you see what he said? Whatever, he's like, they get upset at you if you say their lifestyle is not legitimate. Like, I know, talk about incel. Like, this fucking weirdo, this fucking incel bag of fucking dicks is like talking about like, oh, you incel weirdos with a bunch of trash in your fucking gaming room are walking around thinking you get to tell people whose lives are and aren't legitimate, right? And he wants to talk about violence. It's like, fuck you, bro. How much violence do we hear from like the Tate brothers, from fucking, UFC fighters, from like MAGA bros, Manosphere bros, fucking Dana White, the owner of the UFC, fucking hit his wife. Dude, wife beating. Andrew Tate beating women. NFL players beating women, punching them on camera, and they get short suspensions or whatever and get another job after they rape and punch women. And he's like talking about fucking LGBTQ people. You fucking clown among clowns. Like, what a fucking despicable incel, masturbatory fucking clown king of shits this guy is, dude. Why is this guy even famous? Dude, it is a fault in capitalism in our society that a loser as big as this fucking clown can be famous. That just tells you that fame is like, it fucking picks no value whatsoever. Okay? Because he has no value on this shit, dude. He's just, I'm going to say something that aligns with my homophobic audience and will get everybody riled up. And so I can, tell the kids, like, don't be anti-gay, and they'll all watch my videos, bro. Dude, what a clown, right? Right? Dude, what a fucking clown. He blames the Minneapolis Catholic Church shooting on LGBT people who advocate for and celebrate violence against people that don't acknowledge their lifestyles as being legitimate. When the reality is LGBTQ people suffer at the hands of violence at way higher rates, dude. Transgender people get hurt, assaulted, and killed at such higher rates than anybody else in fucking society right now. It's unfucking real, bro. Every time they go to the bathroom, it could be a death sentence, depending on what state they're in. And they want to fucking cry about this shit. Or as fucking what Lance said, right? He said the shooter was an anti-Semitic Nazi. There's nothing about targeting or attacking non-trans individuals. So trying to make it about LGBTQ people just means you want more violence enacted upon them. And it's so true, man. Dude, it's so fucking true, dude. What a clown among clowns, bro. I just mince no words. Dude, I find Asmongold to be one of the most ignorant and the only person that I can think of in the gaming sphere that is a bigger fucking douchebag, a bigger ignorant fucking piece of shit than Asmongold would be that Tectone guy. That's it. You have Asmon is right down on the bottom, 6 feet below the fucking pile of shit, and 6 feet under that is Tectone. Dude, see, I feel Aiden Ross is maybe in between there, right? Tectone, Aiden Ross, and fucking Asmongold could make a white trash incel sandwich, right? Jesus. Dude, I'm so glad to be out of the gaming community. Can I just tell you? Dude, I hated the gaming community, bro. Everybody in there is so trashy. And you know what else I don't like about it, guys? Is the culture of silence. Because what happens in the gaming world is you have big names like Asmongold and Aiden Ross that are vocal spokespeople for the nastiest, most misogynist, homophobic shit, right? And then what you do is 90% of the gamers, in an effort to just not disturb their income, they just don't say anything at all, okay? And so what happens is their silence makes them complicit with everybody who is saying negative shit. And that's really problematic because the gaming world, I was not okay with that because I grew up in the film world and the theater world and the rock and roll world where we speak up, okay? And the people in the industry, they all speak up. They're not going to keep quiet, even if it's going to cost them records, even if it's going to cost them whatever. They fucking speak up. And they don't they're not complicit with silence. And in the gaming world, nobody would speak up, or they do it in a private message where they'd say, yeah, I agree with you. And then they'd be all silent out there while you're getting attacked. And I was like, dude, I don't want to be a part of a community like that. I'm better than that. You know what I'm saying? I am better than being part of a community. I don't want to make money and be a big name in a community that is complicit through their silence. That's not okay. You know what I mean? And I was really disappointed in how many people were like that, because if everybody spoke up, they could make it different, And especially when you're a wildly successful and wealthy white guy, all of those people, the really rich white gamers, white gamer men, those guys should be speaking up. All of them united, saying we're better than this, guys. We can be better than this. But no, they cater to 12-year-olds, you know? That shit's just not okay.
We want to bring in CBS News correspondent 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗀, who is in Minneapolis at the scene. She joins us on the phone. 𝗙cie, can you paint a picture for us? What are you hearing? What are you seeing there?
Meg, we were just a couple of blocks away from where the shooting took place at the church, and what we are witnessing at this moment is still a very, very heavy presence of police officers. We are seeing FBI agents, HSI, we see state troopers, and it's just rows and rows of blocks that these officers are at this moment. Now, earlier this morning when we arrived to the scene, we were witnessing as some of the parents were carrying their children out of the area where the school and the church is located. Their tiny arms were wrapped around their parents, and the look on their faces, the expressions of these kids, paint the picture of what exactly occurred. Some of these children were in tears, and their parents were immediately taking them out and walking them through the streets and the sidewalks of these neighborhoods. Now, earlier today...
Dude, it's really sad, too, because I don't know how many of you have been to Minneapolis, but Minneapolis it's a pretty cool city, guys. It really is. It's like there's a burgeoning art community. There's like, I don't know, there's a lot of like sort of like urban sort of farming kind of community, kind of like the same sort of thing they have in Detroit, right? Detroit has a lot of that too, of like people that are starting to subsist, like doing farming and raising their own food and shit in the city. And the Hennepin-Lindale area is like super artsy, like vibrant, like, multicultural art scene, which is really like, there's not, having that in the Midwest is like really special, because a lot of the Midwest is really sort of, kind of regressive in a way. And Minneapolis is like really, I don't know, really forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like really like forward thinking and real community based, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of snobbery and pretentiousness there too, like anywhere, but like, I don't know. I thought Minneapolis was actually pretty cool. It was, even though the shows I had there were tough, like musically, the rooms were always very difficult, but there was a coffee shop in Hennepin-Lindale called Bob's Java Hut that I used to go to all the time. And they were one of the coffee shops that would leave their wireless on all night. They wouldn't turn it off when they closed. So I could park out in front of it and like book the rest of my tour, like after my shows, and fucking sleep there and wake up and get a nice cup of coffee in the morning. Dude, it's pretty cool, dude. Minneapolis, it's a good city, like a real long history of like, I don't know, a diversity of art and perspective exists in that city, and it has a sister city, St. Paul too, which is a little different vibe. Like St. Paul is a little bit grittier and a little bit like, I don't know, it feels a little bit like Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas is kind of how Minneapolis, St. Paul felt to me, where St. Paul felt a little bit, I don't know, like a little bit different, a little less fucking, I don't know, I don't know, a little like, I don't know, I didn't like St. Paul as much. I don't know, it felt different. It felt a little colder. But Minneapolis is like a warm city, a real community. I don't know, reminded me a little bit of Detroit. Like Detroit after the urban farming started, and a little bit of Seattle, actually. I feel like Minneapolis reminds me a little bit of Seattle, like with a really rich art tradition there, and in a non-commercial sort of sense of the way, right? But yeah, so I don't know. It's really sad. I find it really sad because, you know, this type of thing happening in a city like Minneapolis, obviously they just had those lawmakers that got gunned down. And I also feel like, man, it's also a city like Minneapolis that's going to be able to survive this in a way. And if there is a city that can have this type of tragedy and come out of it like more cohesive and more determined to be like compassionate and understanding, that maybe Minneapolis is the city that can like convert this tragedy into something powerful and useful to the world, you know? And you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like,
today we also spoke to one of the neighbors whose house is just right next to the school, and he said he heard the shots and ran toward this church and immediately started trying to help out the children. But he describes what he first saw. He said there was a really quiet scene, and this is because the children were barricaded within the church. Police officers did arrive, and he had to step away from the scene. But there are so many neighbors here who, again, it's the look on their faces that was very shocking and really paints a picture of what's going on here at this moment.
Nydia, with all those details and seeing all those people leaving school and all those parents holding their kids a little tighter today, thank you. For more, I want
dude,
to...
I saw 𝗏𝗏. Aaron 𝗏𝗏 is from Minneapolis, and I saw him comment about it. I don't know if his kids go to school near there or something, but if you saw, I don't know if you saw Aaron 𝗏𝗏, but he mentioned something about being rattled, right? Look at that. He said, we had a horrific emergency involving our kids today, and right now I'm just sitting at my computer in daze and in shock. Thankfully, they are okay, but others are less fortunate. And then he didn't post all day, right? So, like, and he's from Minneapolis. So there was something, right? There was something like, you know, I don't know if his kids went to that school or were in a school near there or what, but he never takes the day off, man. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Bring in Tim Gallagher. He is a former FBI special agent and chief security officer for Nardello and Company. Tim, I just want to start with, when you're looking at these types of investigations, how does it differ when the suspect is dead versus being alive and under arrest?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Yes, law enforcement, the FBI, working side by side with their colleagues in local law enforcement. There's still the same sense of urgency, right? Even though the shooter is deceased, you are still looking to put together the pieces of the puzzle. What happened? Who are they in touch with? What have they written? What did they write and then take down? Where were they in the days and hours leading up to the event? So there is still the same sense of urgency, and law enforcement is going to put the case together to paint the full picture. It just will not probably not result in criminal charges. However, the full picture needs to be painted.
Any difficulty when multiple law enforcement agencies are all working together?
No, there's no difficulty at all. It makes everything that much better. You see the concept in terrorism cases with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, where agencies work together side by side. When I ran the FBI office in Newark, New Jersey, there were literally 50 or 60 different agencies working under our roof on any given day, whether that be working terrorism or working crimes against children. It's all one team working on these types of matters to keep the public safe.
Tim, when you saw the first reports of this, what was going through your mind with your former expertise of covering several different things like this in the past?
Sure. You're looking at the reaction that was done immediately inside the church, which appears to have saved lives with children taking cover, children hiding, which follows the run, hide, fight training that is given, and then just the reaction. Law enforcement was there in minutes. Sometimes,
dude, that's crazy that like our kids are trained to respond to being shot at. Like, isn't that crazy? I mean, we had active shooter drills at my kids' schools. They start them young. We live in a country where every kid in America goes through active shooter drills and gets trained. They get more training what to do if they're shot at than those ICE agents get in fucking arresting people. Like, fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the whole transgender thing is a little bit confusing because the person did change their name 5 years ago, but like we, you know, certainly in that video, there was nothing about that video that made that Robin person, they did not seem very trans in the video at all. Right. And I mean, I know there's a whole spectrum of how trans people are, but there was nothing about that video that felt like they were transgender. I was not getting any of that energy or vibe from that video at all.
They arrive in minutes to have to interact with the killer and take the killer down. Here, the fact that law enforcement was there so quickly undoubtedly saved lives, but through rendering first aid and stopping the bleed for those who've been wounded.
You know, we heard from one of the witnesses who told our local affiliate there that they plan and they train for these types of incidents at the school every month, but they've never done that kind of training at the church. How disorienting must that have been for these kids? And do you think they still knew where to go? Because we know that they were hiding all over.
Sure. So it is a fact that active shooter training is necessary. Right? And it has to be done in a way that it doesn't scare the children into thinking that, hey, we could be next. But
dude, they're so brutal. That's our life. Like, we won't pass any gun laws, but we'll make sure, man, let's make sure all these kids have the active shooter training, or let's fucking install bulletproof glass and metal detectors. But goddamn, we're not going to pass a gun law because then the NRA won't fucking line our pockets.
Have muscle memory. Like, if this happens, what can we do? That training is adaptive to no matter where you are, whether it's in school, a house of worship, or public transportation, or a movie theater, right? You know, that the atmosphere where you're going to be will be different as far as, you know, where the exits are, but the training itself and what you need to do to take cover and to hide or to get out of there, you know, those basic concepts do transfer.
All right, Tim Gallagher, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Joining us now is CBS News Chief White House.
So there were a couple lockdowns at my kid's school, but there was never an active shooter at a school. There was a shooter at the Clackamas Town Center Mall, which was a mall that we would go to and go to the food court and go to the theater at. So there was a shooter that was there once, but you know, I don't know. I never really spend a lot of time like worrying about that shit. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I give 0% of my mental space to like shooter worry. Okay. I do. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm unaware. Like whenever I go out, I'm always very perceptive and sort of like, you know, keeping my eye on people and the environment around me and being very aware of what's going on around me. But I don't know. I guess I choose to live not fearing that shit and not like living in fear or, you know, having a sense of panic about any of that stuff. Right. But I am disappointed that we don't like do something. I am disappointed that, you know, I live in a country where if you look at this, you ready? So look at this, guys. Okay. You go here and look at this. This is going to blow you away. Okay. So we live in a country where there are 604 anti-LGBTQ bills. Okay. The vast majority of them, you can go here to ACLU and look at it, and they have them broken down by state, all the different bills, whether they're school restrictions, anti-LGBTQ, bathroom bills. We have 604 anti-LGBTQ bills in state house around the country, and we don't have one fucking bill to deal with guns. Like, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing as a country? Like, if this is Christianity that's causing this, this is hysteria about something that is not harming us at all. But like gun laws, gun bills, homelessness bills, income inequality bills, healthcare bills, we have none of that. None of it. But we have 604 anti-LGBTQ bills. Like, what are we fucking doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? How is this okay? How? How is this okay? Right? Some of these places have more than 16 bills per state. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that crazy? Dude, that is so fucked up. Like this should be like 2, and there should be like 100, 200 for homelessness and healthcare and dental care and education and wealth distribution and, you know, minimum wage and worker protections and civil rights protections and like protecting our right to vote. We could have hundreds of those and have like 3 bills about LGBTQ people. But dude, this is crazy. Like our entire country, what they are focused on is so off the mark. Like 90% of our energy is focused on like 2% of importance. Right? And then things that 70% of importance to us get 0% of our fucking energy, you know? And dude, that's a travesty, bro. Like everybody is so fucked up right now that's making the laws.
Correspondent 𝗙ecie 𝗿𝗍𝗪. Nancy, thanks for being here. How is the White House responding to the shooting?
Well, Meg, we just watched a few minutes ago as the flags here on the White House grounds were lowered to half-staff, and the president issued a proclamation ordering all government buildings to lower their flags through the...
Oh, dude, a proclamation about flags. Nobody cares about fucking flags, bro. Who gives a shit about the fucking flags, bro? Like, let's take some steps to end the deaths. But they're like, oh, he ordered all the flags lowered to half-staff. Who fucking cares? Fuck the flags, bro. Burn the goddamn flags. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Fuck, boss. Jesus Christ.
Remainder of the week to half-staff. He also issued this proclamation honoring the victims of this tragic shooting. And we know that he has spoken to the governor of Minneapolis and he's spoken to the FBI, but notable that he has had a
The governor, you mean the mayor of Minneapolis? The governor, he doesn't like the governor of Minnesota, dude. He hates Tim Walz.
Conversation with Governor Walz, the governor of Minnesota, rather, because the two of them haven't spoken much.
They don't
over
like
the past,
each other.
Few
Dude,
months.
Trump hates Tim Walz.
As you recall, Governor Walz was on the Democratic ticket that ran against Trump in the most recent election. And they didn't speak after a politically motivated shooting in Minnesota.
Isn't that crazy that those lawmakers in Minnesota were gunned down by that killer and Trump didn't speak to Tim Walz? How dirty is that to have legislators in fucking Minnesota get executed and the president never called Tim Walz to like talk to him about it? Like that is so beyond fucking, like that is so classless and so like such piss poor leadership. Like that is the worst fucking leadership imaginable. You wonder why the country sucks. There it is, right? And a whole bunch of men in this country look up to the man who behaves like that, right? That like a bunch of young men are idolizing a fucking, barely functional child who can't even regulate his own emotions to show the tiniest bit of leadership. Like, dude, yeah, Trump has no bottom. Dude, he needs a pine box, dude. He does. Fuck him, bro. Too bad. Well, I'm not going to say it.
Earlier this summer, but they have connected today, and President Trump says he is going to continue to monitor the situation and is asking folks to keep the people of Minneapolis in their prayers.
Nancy, as the country mourns this latest school shooting, we know President Trump is hosting a meeting at the White House today regarding the conflict in Gaza. What more can you tell us about those talks? What's the specific focus?
There are two main focuses of this meeting, Meg. One is to work with the president to envision what a post-war Gaza might look like, post-war.
Dude, the post-war Gaza, dude, what is that shit? All right, we have 8 minutes. Dude, we need 9 more in 8 minutes. I don't think we're going to make it, but Karmic, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping us light up fucking Elon, dude. Let's go. Dude, now they're talking about Gaza. Dude, don't even... Dude, Trump and Gaza, that is a disaster. Dude, everything about Trump is a disaster. All right. Dude, that's all I got on the fucking shooting. I feel like there might be a couple videos in there. I mean, dude, I don't want any more prayers. You know, that's my thing. I did write another tweet about fucking not wanting prayers, right? You know what I'm saying? No more prayers, okay? Dude, yeah, no more prayers, man. We need sensible laws that are not religious based. Period. That's what we fucking need, man. That's what we need. Okay? We need sensible laws that are not based in religion. Dude, can I share something else with you? Can I share you this? Because this is wild, dude. Look at this. This is some footage from Butler, PA, from when Trump was shot at. But watch this footage. Odd behavior is what they say, okay? Look at this shit, okay? So moments after shots are fired, a member of Trump's team rushes to the other side of the stage to get the photographers together, okay? This is crazy. Look at what they did. So Trump gets shot at. There's people with guns. This guy is out running around out there getting photographers.
President's been shot.
He goes and grabs photographers.
Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering.
They're surrounding Trump.
We love you. We love you, President Trump.
Right?
We love you. We love you.
Now they bring the photographers to the front of the stage, and then watch what they do with the flag, guys. They actually lower the flag. Look at this shit. They lower the flag so it gets into the shot. Isn't that fucking weird, bro? And he's still moving the photographers. Now, if you guys were to go look at like Reagan getting shot, okay, when Reagan got shot, all of the Secret Service just surrounded him and piled on him, and they were never letting him up. They were not going to bring photographers in there to get a picture of Reagan. They were not going to let Reagan show his face and pump his fist. This shit is weird, dude. This shit is fucking weird. And now something else happened today, guys, where the other thing that happened was you had fucking Mike Lee, who's a real fucking piece of shit. Look at this guy. Mike Lee said, we still know nothing about Thomas Crooks. And he said, why? But like, dude, how does this add up, Mike Lee? Your party has complete control of the House, complete control of the Senate. You guys, the president is your guy, the guy who was shot. You have access to his medical records. You have every agency of government is filled with nothing but Trump's cronies. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino. Everybody in there are like Trump's personal fucking... His personal lawyer is going and interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell. There's no fucking reason why they wouldn't have all the information in the world on this guy. They control every fucking level of government. And yet he's like, oh, he's stoking the fucking, stirring the pot of like the conspiracy. It's like you run the whole goddamn government, bro. Like, how? How is that possible? Dude, that shit is either fake or like, I don't know what it is. But something, it stinks about this because it did disappear. The guy disappeared. We never saw the ear. The medical records never showed up. The whole thing, even Trump just like swept it under the rug, right? The only thing after that was like there was some bulletproof glass for a couple of fucking things. That was just weird, man. Right? You have a saying in Utah, fuck Mike Lee. Dude, fuck Mike Lee, bro. He is such a fucking piece of trash. Bro. Fucking trashy motherfucker, boss. Dude, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene's deep thought. Why do these shooters always have a manifesto? Who tells them to do that? Like, dude, doesn't she get it? Like, dude, she's so dumb. Like, you know what I mean? If somebody's going out and doing something as crazy as a mass shooter, there's a reason behind it. Dude, she is so dumb. It's like her and Boebert and Nancy Mace are three of the dumbest fucking people I've ever seen, bro. Who tells them to do that? Like, oh my God, dude. Dude, these guys are fucking clowns, bro. Jesus. Dude, Matt Walsh is a fucking piece of shit, bro. Dude, this is hilarious. Dude, look at this poll, dude. Cuomo plus 11 over Mamdani. Dude, there's no way, dude. Dude. There is no way, bro. This is the biggest AstroTurf poll ever. Dude, look at this. This feels much more real. Dude, who stole Matt Walsh's chin? Dude, Matt Walsh is a fucking piece of shit, bro. He is, dude. Matt Walsh. This guy is a fucking piece of trash, dude. Absolute fucking trash. Yeah, see, here's the crazy thing, though, is they'll be all anti-trans, but you see these two trans women right here, Caitlyn Jenner and Sophia Hutchins. You know that these two trans women, when they go to Mar-a-Lago, they use the women's room, and nobody has a fucking problem with it, okay? You know what I'm saying? So this is what's crazy about this shit, right? Isn't that fucking wild? That shit is like... Dude, that shit is not okay, man. Dude, they're all mad because he said you shouldn't be praying. You know, dude. I like that mayor. I'm going to follow him, dude. Dude, yeah, religion is really problematic. You know what I'm saying? It is. Dude, so what's crazy about this is I replied to a tweet earlier today. I'm just going to show you this real quick because I think it's valid. But I fucking replied to it was a Benny Johnson tweet, okay? Because Benny Johnson, of course, was like way early into this, okay? And he was saying how many Christians have been harmed recently or whatever, right? And let me just show you, okay? first, when they're talking about demonic possession, it's like, dude, you're so full of shit. But we're going to go through a couple of highlights here. Okay. First off, there's this tweet. Let me find it. It was early. It was this one where Benny says, enough! Christianity is the most persecuted religion on earth. End of story. He says Christians are being hunted and terrorized and slaughtered simply for their faith in Jesus Christ. And he goes and like lists all this fucking, 4,000, 3,000 this year, 5,000 one year. And I was like, dude, Christians have killed like 20 million. They have killed 20 fucking million people, guys. 20 million. MAGA. Dude, nobody wants to hear about your fucking conservative tears. You fucking degenerate imperialist motherfuckers. Right? Dude, you know what I'm saying? And that's a conservative estimate. Dude, yeah, fucking scoundrels. Dude, they're just scoundrels. And look at this. He's got this prepared, guys. He didn't research all this today. Like, Benny has a prepared fucking Christianity fucking thread set up to like, oh, here's the one that says Christians are being murdered and persecuted and they're attacking us. So therefore, we should be able to put everybody who's not a Christian in jail because they're killing us all. That's what they're after. Dude, and he's fucking is being paid by Russia, fucking clowns, and she's lying about trans people. All right, we're going to look at some of this shit, all right? Dude, I was posting this thing around all over the place, right? Dude, what about this though, dude? Did you see this? Like, this shit is crazy. You see what RFK Jr.'s doing? So RFK Jr. fired some people, right? He fired a woman at the head of the CDC, and then a whole bunch of other top people are now, they're resigning, okay? They're resigning because they're removing science. They're removing scientific data, but look at what he says here. He says, I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, inflammation. You can tell from their faces, movements, and lack of social connection. Dude, what the fuck is he doing? He's not a doctor. He's got no fucking medical training whatsoever. He was a brain-wormed, mercury-poisoned former heroin addict, but he's walking through the airport staring at kids and divining their mitochondrial fucking situations. Like, what is going on, bro? We have some whack job who's not a fucking doctor at all walking around and saying he's diagnosing our children by looking at them when he's fucking staring at them in the airport. And dude, what this guy said was so crazy. He said, the man looks like a 90-year-old baseball glove. What does he know about visual indicators? Dude, it's true, bro.
And I know what a healthy child is supposed to look like. I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, as I walk down the street, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, with inflammation. You can tell from their faces, from their body movements, and from their lack of social connection. And I know that that's not how our children are supposed to look.
Dude, he's like, I know what healthy children are supposed to look like. Like, dude, what the fuck is he talking about? Oh, I know what healthy children are supposed to look like. Oh, and they're having a mitochondrial fucking masturbatory. Oh, dude, he's like, I was ogling some young girls at the airport, and dude, he is. But this guy, the man looks like a 90-year-old baseball glove. Dude, he's fucking ogling young girls at the airport. This guy who tries to fucking sexually assault the nanny, bro. Jesus. Dude, I didn't know Sophia Hutchins died? No way, dude. Get out, bro. I did not know that. Oh my God, dude. No way, bro. I had no idea she died. Dude, I didn't even hear about it. That is crazy. She lived with Kate. I didn't know she lived with Caitlyn Jenner. Right? Died in an ATV accident near her home. 29 years old. She was driving a blue ATV, a Polaris, on Decker Canyon Road. Oh my God, she rear-ended a vehicle, dude. No fucking way. Then the ATV swerved off the road. Like, Decker Canyon is a crazy fucking road that goes through, like, north out of Malibu, right? And it's like super twisty and up and down these fucking hills and shit. And the fucking, she rear-ended a vehicle on an ATV and then it swerved off the road and flew 350 feet into a ravine, dude. That is so brutal. There's no way. She was speeding and rear-ended the car. And then it veered to the right and off the fucking... Dude, wow. She was trying to go around it. Dude, that's so sad. Dude, why didn't we not hear about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, that's really sad. 29, Sophia Hutchins. Fucking brutal, dude. Dude. Is the vaccine? Dude, Trump, I guess Trump does drown out everything. Yeah, you know what I mean? Los Angeles heard? Oh, Los Angeles. I'm sure it was news all over LA, right? Dude, I responded to the preemptive whatever thing saying, you fuck Jeffrey Epstein and your husband rape teenage girls. Both of you exhibit concerning and dangerous behaviors. Fuck you if you think we're going to let you criminals create some weird social media targeting system that you can use to arrest whomever you want. Dude, this shit is crazy, dude. This shit from Melania. By the way, dude, where's Melania's fucking arrest or whatever? Where's her $1 billion lawsuit against Hunter Biden? We haven't seen that yet. Right? Dude, look at this shit, dude. This tragedy was not about guns. This tragedy was about mental health, right? And the left has promoted radical gender ideology. Dude. This guy is fucking pissing me off. Dude, fucking clowns, bro. Watch the Walt Masterson video. So, dude, we can watch that. I don't want to watch it right now. I don't want to see Walt Masterson. Like, I love Walt, but I'm just not feeling his fucking Moms for Liberty trolling today. It just doesn't feel like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Dude, but we'll watch it. Maybe we'll watch that tomorrow. Today, though, I'm not really feeling like a trolling the Moms for Liberty thing. You know, I'm fucking, you know, I don't know, dude. Dude, I'm just feeling like fucking, I'm feeling fucking like irritated, man. It's cool, but it's also long and boring. How long is it? Dude, I mean, I'll be honest. I love Walter Masterson, but like some of those troll videos, I feel like they should be about 3 minutes long. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, sometimes they can go on a little long for me. They feel like they're kind of like fucking Weird Al Yankovic songs. That they're best if they're short. Tired? No, I'm not really tired today. I just feel like today is, as, you know, we covered the shooting, we covered Melania's tweet, we covered a little bit of RFK Jr.'s chaos. I kind of wanted to catch up on the Cenk-Watch, right? Dude, eucalyptus, that shit is keeping me. Oh, dude, it's a fucking 30 minutes? No way, that school board thing is 30 minutes? Dude, that's a lot. I wanted to do a little Cenk-Watch, but I don't even know if I do that. Yeah, I want to do something fun, something funny, but not 30 minutes funny. You know what I'm saying? I want something that's like 3 minutes funny. What do we got that's like 3 minutes funny? Maybe we'll just do a little fucking little hogwatch, right? Let's go look at the TikTok for a minute, right? Let's go hit the For You page on the TikTok. Oh my God, dude. Susan Collins.
Maine Senator Susan Collins was...
Oh my God, look at this.
Maine Senator Susan Collins was drowned out by angry Mainers at a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Searsport on Tuesday. This footage is from...
Dude, what the fuck, bro? She's sitting there smiling, and everybody is like yelling shame. Dude, she is terrible. Bro, she should get a boot in the ass, dude. Susan Collins, she has caused more damage to our institutions. Her and Murkowski, they're terrible. They're complicit. Right? Yeah, she thinks they're yelling yay. Dude, she is fucking clueless, bro.
If you don't hurt people, you ain't gonna
towards me again.
Shut your ass
okay?
up.
You better not step
Dude.
towards me again.
Shut your ass up.
Right.
I'm right here.
Okay, take another step.
Physical distance.
I know.
Arms length.
Right.
I know the law. I know.
Dude, he's yelling at the cop, dude. I love Philly, bro. Oh, shit, dude. The Black Panther Party was called to West Philly for help with police brutality. We came. Let's go.
I know I'm right. I know I'm right. You shouldn't have a badge on, you fucking bully. This is what's going on. If the people in the community are mad about what y'all doing, you should be listening to what they say and trying to fix it. Not getting in their face talking about, I wish you would, because I will. I'm not scared. You see how many of y'all? Comrades, walk 50 feet that way. Walk 50 feet that way. Excuse me, can y'all back up just a little bit? I want to display something. I'm by myself. I'm not scared of all of y'all. Right? I'm telling you, if black people are brutalized in Philadelphia, we going to get involved. We don't want to get involved. We want to serve the community together. We want to stop the drugs and stuff together. But you can't be on both sides of the line. So you can't be punching people or stepping on their head or laughing at them while they're having a seizure and then want somebody to be nice to you.
Yeah, my God, dude. This guy is like, it's just hitting me like right in the heart because he's being so honest. He's like, we want to fucking heal the neighborhood, but you come in and you treat everybody in the neighborhood like they are shit. And like you're not on their side. Like that cop was saying, get in my face. Like, give me an excuse. And it's like the whole concept of policing is about like, I'm going to overpower you and fuck you up. And instead of like coming to someone's aid, you know what I mean? And it always on their car says shit like to protect and serve. But what they really do is they antagonize and bully and try to like overpower, again and again and again. And they don't listen to the community's needs. They don't listen to people saying, hey, you're being too brutal. When somebody shouts, I can't breathe, they don't take their goddamn knee off the motherfucker's neck, And it's like, what is wrong with the institution of policing that they are like that? That's what their role is, to fucking overpower and cause harm.
You know what I'm saying? If I did that, my comrades did that, I'd fuck my comrade up. My comrade wouldn't be walking around next to me in a uniform, and I wouldn't care if I got fired or sued or any of that shit, because I stand for it. You supposed to stand for that. You see what I'm saying? So if you, right, but that shit right there wasn't peaceful. I got you, but then I remove you. I hear you, but what I'm saying to you is, I'm telling you why. I'm telling you where this anger come from. You see what I'm saying? If police don't brutalize people in this neighborhood, we don't got to get with the police. But if we get video sent to us of that, we going to come yelling and screaming and ready to fight. It's not funny. That's why you're a pig. See, police officers that serve the community, they cool. But when police officers laugh at people having seizures because they slammed them on the ground, that's a pig. Right? When police punching you is not part of their policy. That's a pig.
Yeah, right? Dude, that's true, man. Right? Dude, this guy. Dude, I love this fucking guy, bro. Dude, what the fuck, bro? This guy is like, I love this guy, bro. I really do, man. He's so good, dude.
The police officer says I would dignify everyone I encounter during the commission of my shift. If they're not dignifying everybody they come encounter with, that's a pig. It says I would treat everybody with courtesy and respect. If they hop out talking like this, bald-headed bully, that's a pig. You understand what I'm saying?
Dude, he's amazing. It's so true, though. I mean, and what's crazy is I cannot imagine what people of color go through with the police. I cannot imagine. But let me just tell you, even as a white guy, okay, I am a white guy, 55, as privileged as can be, right? I am literally in the most privileged class. And I have had instances where cops have pulled me over and they have just berated me for like not having used my signal, or, if I picked up my phone, whatever I did that they're giving me a ticket for, where they will just get in my face and just berate me and like verbally abuse me and dump the most toxic shit, when it's like, dude, that ain't your fucking job. Like, I am not here to absorb your fucking negativity. Like, fucking write me a ticket and give me whatever you're going to give me, but please just shut the fuck up, okay? I don't have to sit here and listen to you scream at me. I don't care what you think of what I did. Your opinion of my transgression is not part of this transaction at all. You're allowed to write me a ticket and whatever, but I don't have to sit here and absorb your shit just because you're holding a gun and you have a fucking badge. Like, they have a sense of entitlement and a sense of like disrespect for the power that they hold. That is disgusting. Okay? It is disgusting. They are just so abusive in every possible way, and they don't even fucking realize it. They're so like out of line, man. And imagine what people of color feel like, where like they can't say that to a cop, or they would most certainly maybe end up dead. Certainly they would be in fucking jail. You know what I'm saying? It's just so gross, dude. It's like so gross. And you see them with their body camera footage, like laughing at like fucking people up. They hurt people and they laugh about it. Or they, you know what I'm saying? They belittle people and they laugh about it. They fucking, I can't breathe, and they lean deeper on their neck. They punch people in the face when there's 5 guys laying on the body. I mean, it's just fucking disgusting. It is. And yes, cops are supposed to help, but they don't. They're supposed to protect and serve, not bully and fucking overpower.
Man is black in the black community being a pig, right? I want y'all to know the difference. I also want you to know that you do not have to be scared of them. See what I'm saying? You don't gotta be scared of them. You understand? I will get into it with them and die before I let them do anything to you, sister. You don't gotta be scared of them. And more black men in this community need to get their I got my record expunged. I got a gun license right here. More black people need to get their record expunged, and they need to get legally armed so that they're not the only ones with the guns. So that the punching and the slamming and the putting the foot on the head, all that shit stops. Because all three of those things happen in that camera, and they're not going to happen while I'm here. I got you. What's your name, sir? My name is Paul Birdsong. I'm the chairman of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense.
Dude, I fucking love this guy. Dude, this is the energy we need, man. And by the way, guys, as long as we have the Black Panthers here on the screen, can I give you a little bit of information? Because you may not know, you guys who have grown up in the modern world where Republicans are anti-gun control, when I was a kid, okay, in the 70s, the Republicans were pro-gun control. The Republicans were the ones who believed in gun control. And you know why? Because of the Black Panthers. Because the Black Panthers during the civil rights movement, they started getting guns. They started carrying guns. They started arming themselves, okay, and not leaving themselves in a situation to be taken advantage of or to be shot and killed. And the minute the Black Panthers started carrying guns, legal guns, registered guns, the Republicans were like, man, we got to have gun control laws. It was because of the Black Panthers, bro. They literally started writing gun control laws because the Black Panthers had guns and they wanted them fucking gone. Dude, it's gnarly, okay? It is gnarly shit. And dude, I fucking am so thankful for the Black Panthers. Like, so thankful, man. I mean, they have done so much to advance, like, social causes in America. It's fucking unreal. You know what I mean?
Listen, we're here to be peaceful. We're just here to make sure nothing goes wrong. That's what I'm here for. We don't need no hostility. There is hostility. Listen. If you don't want hostility, hold your comrades accountable. Every officer.
Oh, did you see what he said? The guy said, we don't want hostility. And this guy said, there is hostility. There already is, because these cops are abusive. And he said, if you really don't want hostility, you need to hold your comrades accountable. And this is something, guys, that I believe in, not just with police, but this is the same shit I talk about men, okay? Men should hold other men accountable, okay? Instead of men allowing men to be predators and being okay with it, and then our job is to protect our women. No, we should stop protecting women and letting men be predators and start holding our fellow men accountable. Us policing ourselves, okay? In the same way with this guy, if you really don't want any animosity, if you don't want any anger, you don't want negative feelings, you should be holding the bully cops accountable. You should be preventing, right? He's telling him you should prevent your own guys from being abusive. Right? Because the animosity that exists here is because of your comrades and because you guys are letting them get away with it. You know? And like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the fucking facts, bro.
Should be arrested. Right? What about the officers that slammed that man in there and laughed as he had a seizure?
Well, we could take care of that. We could take care of that.
Oh, we gonna take care of it. We already filed him. Well, listen, every badge member in the video.
You can't make threats.
I didn't make a threat. I responded to him. He said it. I said, we're the Panther Party's here. We're not going to let you beat up on anybody here. That's not a threat. That's us defending ourselves. We're the Black Panther Party for self-defense. He got out the car and said, if I interfere with him doing his duty, it's going to be a problem. I said, your duty's not to punch nobody, right? Or kick nobody, or laugh when anybody's having a seizure. So if you illegally put your hands on somebody, I'm going to intervene. I don't care if it's a problem. I'm not just voicing my opinion. I'm telling you that the black people will not be the victims of the police in this community no more while we're here.
Dude, let's go. Dude, the black people will not be victims. Black people in this community will not be victims of the police while I'm here. That's amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. right? If the cops had to pay their own fucking lawsuits for abusing people's rights, that problem would probably take care of itself. But dude, this guy is so good, man.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna recruit others around here. So when I leave, they're gonna continue not being the victim.
Dude, this is amazing, bro. Dude, let's go. That is fucking
If you're not
incredible.
running ads on TikTok.
So there's something that is kind of niche that's happening in media right now that I feel like
Sometimes when I'm bored, I buy cameos and I just write.
My business has grown. Hey neighbors, what's up? Where do you guys live?
What's that?
Where do you guys live? You guys in the neighborhood?
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Cool, where do you live?
That's a weird thing.
That's not a weird thing. I talk to my neighbors all the time. That's so strange. We heard some like news about some sex pests around here, so I was just wondering where you guys live.
Oh shit.
Live in Mount Pleasant, what street? What block?
Oh my god, they're ICE agents?
Some people felt uncomfortable. Do you guys order from here or are you guys just sitting? You won't say your name? You coward? I see 3 little bitches.
Oh my god.
What's your name? Where do you live? If you live in Mount Pleasant, you can tell me what block. We're a very friendly neighborhood here. What's your name? Oh, you're gonna take a picture of me because you're a little bitch too? That's fine. I don't care. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not the one abusing people. I'm not a menace. You refuse to name yourselves. Interesting. Yeah, I think you should leave our neighborhood. Hey guys, these guys are ICE. ICE is here.
Oh
Guys,
my
these
god.
guys are ICE. These guys are ICE. Get them the fuck out of here.
Dude.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, then who are you with? Who are you with? Because you guys were sitting over there before, and that's, like, really fucking suspicious, and then you're sitting here and you're not ordering anything. Who are you with?
I don't know.
Well, who are you with? Like, if I asked you where you're from, and you just said Mount Pleasant.
Dude.
Yeah. Where are you from? No. What block? What block? It's really easy to say. It's really easy. Honestly, when I talk to people in my neighborhood and I say what block, get out of here, ICE. Nobody likes you.
Dude, fuck ICE. Dude, they can eat shit, bro. Seriously. I mean, I feel like hound them out of restaurants for the rest of their natural born life, bro. Fuck them. They can move to fucking Venezuela. They can go to El Salvador if they want some food, right? Fuck them.
Go
Seriously.
home, bitches.
Dude, who is this woman, bro? I don't know who that is. Oh, I guess it's just a that's a multi fucking whatever
Where do you
page.
guys live? You guys in the neighborhood? Hey, neighbors.
Dude, that was amazing. Dude, look at these clowns. What are these fucking clowns doing, bro? Rent-a-cops is what they are.
At the White House doorstep right now.
I'm a retired disabled combat veteran.
Oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy who burned the flag. By the way, guys, just so you know, I just want to give you some heads up, okay? Just so you know, guys, Trump's executive order, there is no punishment for burning a flag. I'm telling you, if you read the executive order, there is no punishment for burning the flag. There couldn't be, because first off, he says a year, no time off. No, first off, executive orders are not laws. He cannot write an executive order that governs you under the law. The only thing executive orders govern are government agencies. So what it is, though, is it says that if you burn a flag, they're going to try to find some reason to arrest you. Okay? Like, for example, this guy burns the flag, but he didn't get arrested for burning the flag. He got arrested because it's illegal to light a fire on federal property. You're not allowed to start a fire on federal property, right, without a permit. So he started a fire on federal property. So they arrested him for the fire, like the same as if he had gone there and created a campfire to roast some marshmallows. But he did not get arrested for burning a flag, and they cannot arrest you for burning the flag. But what it says in there is if you burn a flag, they're going to start looking for a way to arrest you. Are you disobeying fire laws? Are you too close to some buildings? Have you broken any municipal codes? Are you right? They're at that point, the minute they catch you burning a flag, they are going to try to find some way to charge you with some type of crime. But actually, you can burn the fucking flag, and Trump can, right there, buddy, right there, Trumpy, get right in, you boss. All right? You know what I'm saying? It's fucking, you know.
Assalamu
Don't fucking push me. You're taking him before I can take a phone number from him?
You need to stop.
Dude, I love this woman, too.
You need to stop kidnapping people off the fucking street.
100%.
You don't have to watch the language. He said, watch the language, man. Fuck you, bro. She could tell you to go fuck yourself. You don't police her language. These fucking bitches, bro.
Take him away when I'm trying to call his family for him.
You're making an arrest. You need to stay.
Show me your arrest warrant then.
They're
Show me
making
your
an
arrest
arrest.
warrant. Yeah, because you're a fucking liar.
You're not an interested party. You have no right to see that.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people off the fucking street.
We good?
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah,
these
because
guys.
What? Because someone came over to help them, you have to rush and get them in the fucking
This
car?
is being obnoxious and a lady.
Not being obstructive. You're being obnoxious.
This is 100%. 100%.
You guys have no conscience.
Yep.
If you're doing something right, take your fucking mask off then. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, dude, you fucking clowns.
I'm
Cowards. Cowards. Fucking cowards, bro.
I was trying to help them and you have to hurry up and get out of here? F you.
Dude, let's go. She's letting him have it, dude. I love her,
Are
bro.
these more people in unmarked cars? Yep. Yep. Just trying to like trying to run us over. Yeah. Like it's just all these vehicles, just unmarked cars.
Dude, you know what's crazy is they've been switching license plates. Like they have license plates that are not registered to cars, and they've been putting them on other cars and shit. They're so dirty,
What do you
dude.
think you're the coolest guy in the parking lot? And then this guy shows up. What do you think you're the coolest guy in the parking lot? And then
I get it. There are a lot
All right.
of earplugs to choose.
Liberals, you guys are not in the driver's seat. I don't know how else to say this to you for you guys to fucking understand that in 3 years, we are not going to listen to what you have to say. Your strategies, your thought processes, they are ridiculous.
I don't know who this chick is talking about, but in 3 years from now, what's going to happen is the American people are going to vote. Somebody's going to win the primary, and everybody on the left better get behind whoever wins the fucking primary. And I don't care how you feel about them. That's my thing. When we get to 2028, it's going to be real simple. Root for who you want, but when that primary's over, I don't care who fucking wins. I don't want to hear one goddamn voice on the left, not one motherfucking voice on the left, utter anything but support for whoever wins that fucking primary, period. Okay, that's it. You either fucking pony up, show up, and fight for the victory against these fascist fucks, or you can just fucking bounce, kick fucking rocks, and shut the fuck up and stay out of my sight forever. Okay? No more fucking around. Okay? No more fucking around. Right? Once that primary is over, we are going to fall in line behind our guy or girl, and I don't want to hear another goddamn word. None of this, you got to earn my vote. No, fuck you. Okay? There's going to be a primary winner that already has their vote, and that's it. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing your civic duty. Okay? That's it. All right? None of this shit. This whole after the primary's over, oh, now you got to win my vote. Fuck you. All right? No, your civic duty is to make sure that JD goddamn Vance and Peter Thiel don't butt fuck us with the goddamn King James. All right? That's it. That's it. And I don't want to hear anything else about it, or I'm going to give boots in the ass. Okay? Period. Oh, there it is. Let's go.
And this is Donald Trump's America. People who can't express themselves freely because it's freedom of...
Dude, oh my God, some guy came and took the flag. What a dink, bro. Who does that, bro? Freedom of speech. They don't believe in freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? These MAGA fucks, dude. They don't believe in freedom of speech, dude. They're fucking freedom of cuckoldry is what they are. That's what they are. They're fucking Trump cuckolds.
Here's why home equity...
Why does everybody in the National Guard have that porn mustache from the 70s? You guys look like bottom gun. Anyways, it's good to be here in Iraq. No, I'm just kidding. This is like Comic-Con out here. I love the National Guard.
Dude, this guy's hilarious. You hear that?
Why does everybody in the National Guard have that porn mustache from the 70s? You guys look like bottom gun. Anyways, it's good to be here in Iraq. No, I'm just kidding. This is like Comic-Con out here. I love the National Guard, or as I like to call them, the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have a little bit of a better record at the moment. The U.S. military, they went about 0-20 years in the Middle East recently.
My God,
we just created a bunch of power vacuums over there, which is not a Dyson product, unfortunately. I think the National Guard and the Coast Guard should just play a volleyball game and then kiss. Let's get it over with. Okay, we're having a good time. Why does everybody in the National Guard have that porn mustache from the 70s? You guys look like bottom...
Oh, shit, that's hilarious. Establishment Dem leaders. Dude, see, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they just need to be voted out, right? But I'm not going to let J.D. Vance and fucking Peter Thiel take over because Charles Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are fucking corporate pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? But we should find a primary challenger for both of them and try to beat those guys. You know, try to get them out of power, right? You know what I mean? I mean, that Andrew Cuomo shit of like asking for Trump's help. Like, bro, what are we talking about? That's how you know who needs to be replaced. Any Democrat that supports Andrew Cuomo, we need to get them out of office because we see their allegiance. Their allegiance is more with Trump than it is with somebody who wants to get us health care and make sure we're fed. You know what I'm saying? Dude, let's go. Think you're too worried about that? No liberal's going to split the vote? Yeah, I don't know, Matt. I mean, I'd like to believe that, but I thought no liberal would want to split the vote in 2024, but it didn't work out that way.
Hey
right?
guys, we're just about to head to home.
You know, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just know what how the line I'm drawing, right? We're either getting on board, right? But we do need to fucking replace Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Like, without a doubt, those guys, like, without a doubt, man. And I believe maybe it has something to do with Ken Martin getting super PACs out of the primaries. If we can do that, I feel like if we can get Ken Martin and the DNC to take super PACs out of the primaries, so we're not going against like $5 million of APAC money or $5 million of health insurance money in the primary, then I think we can bounce some of those fuckers. Okay? That's what we got to do. I'm trying to figure out how we can best do that. I don't know how to voice, like, I don't know enough about the DNC to know how we can get our voice heard with that. If you guys have information on that, on how to fight for the DNC to change the rules about that stuff, like, do you go to your local, like, DNC or is there, like, national convention you could protest, or, like, I need information about that. I don't really know much about the inner workings. But again, though, the thing is we will use the super PAC money in the general election because we need it to compete with the Republicans. But the primaries, if we could get it out so people have to be funded by the people, that would make a big difference, because then those guys they're not safe. Like right now, Hakeem Jeffries is safe because he has $5 million, right? Same with Chuck Schumer. Okay, but if they have to get money from actual people, dude, now they're accountable. Okay, now they're not safe anymore. Now they can't sit there and jerk off with their fucking sternly worded letters You know, they need to actually show up for people.
Liberals get upset over the dump.
I wasn't driving.
I was ready to blame Lovable.
Trump is a punk ass bitch. Trump is a punk ass bitch. Trump is a punk ass bitch.
Sing at Secret Service!
Trump is a punk ass bitch. Trump is a punk ass bitch.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
I'm thrilled to see people reject liberalism towards leftism. That's very exciting to me, and I like that that was even included.
It's a working class ideology that is built in movement politics. I take my inspirations from the labor movement. I take my inspirations from the civil rights movement. American history is not a history of working people asking permission to get things from those in power. Every good thing that we have got.
You've had to fucking rattle the people in power to get it. Exactly. I mean, this is so true. Every good thing we've gotten has come from some form of resistance.
Quite frankly, for working people in this country, does not come from writing a strongly worded letter to someone in power and then they just give it to you. We need to build power. We need to build organizational power, both in communities and workplaces. We need to build a much deeper structure of power through our political apparatus in a way that we can leverage it far after campaigns come and go.
See, here's the thing that I want to see, and I'm going to close on this, okay? Because I'm going to go make some videos. But this is what I want to see from leftism in America. All right, you ready for this? So what I want to see with leftism in America is I want us to convert leftism from talk online and talk on the internet to actual boots on the ground success. Okay? Which means instead of us all being fucking people who talk about if the Dems did this, if we did that, if we had this platform, we need to have more people running and winning on a platform that is outside of that conventional conservative liberalism. Okay? But like what happens now is most of the leftism is commentary and reflection as opposed to like boots on the ground winning and getting in office. There's only a little bit of it in office, like 5 or 6 members in office. And it could be on the state level. It could be at the board, school board level, right? We just need more leftists to be actually running for office instead of just talking about what they want their politicians to be doing. And that's my biggest complaint about leftism is most of the like voices don't actually want to run. Nobody actually wants to run on leftism. They just want to talk about how great leftism would be if people use that platform. And I think we have to run. I think trying to convince corporate Democrats or liberal centrists to be left, they're not going to do it until the left starts winning. And if the left starts winning, everybody will become the left because they're going to gravitate towards what wins. That's it. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? And you know, there's been a lot of success when people show up. You know, there is, but we have to, I feel like we got to run. You know what I'm saying? How do they not see how popular AOC and Bernie are? I mean, they do, but AOC and Bernie, though, are like, you know, like their AOC is in New York City, right? And so that is a place that it's a lot easier to be AOC in New York City than it is in Nebraska. Okay. Right. And Bernie is just sort of a weird exception. Okay. I mean, he's been doing it for like 40 years, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So he's got it dialed, right? You know what I mean? That message resonates. I mean, it does. It does. But at the same time, though, like, what's crazy about it is it resonates, right? Like Bernie and shit will go to Nebraska and there'll be 30,000 people there resonating with the message, but then look at who they vote for in Nebraska. They have not voted for a single goddamn person like Bernie anywhere in their fucking government. Okay, so the message resonates, but they're not actually voting for that shit. So why are they not voting for it? Because people in Nebraska aren't running on that message. But if 1,000 Nebraskans ran on that message, maybe a couple of them would win. But that's what I'm talking about, is it's just theoretical. Even with Bernie, right? Bernie went out and had a message that like inspired the whole world. But like I watched state after state in the South and everybody voted for Hillary like 70%. And I was like, God damn, why are none of the people in the South voting for Bernie? Like, why is he getting killed in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia and North Carolina? Like, why? They're resonating with the message, but they're still not voting for him, you know? And like, that's what's so weird. Like, that's why I think we need to flood the zone ourselves, you know? You know what I mean? Like, I think if 1,000 people ran for office in Nebraska, certainly one of them would win. But Matt, though, the thing is you got to stop saying he got sabotaged by Dems. You're going to get sabotaged. Anytime you run for office, you're going to get sabotaged by Dems. You're going to get sabotaged by Republicans. You're going to get sabotaged by the business people who want to thwart you. If you run on Medicare for all, every insurance company on the planet is going to try to sabotage your ass. But you have to fucking have enough people running and building a groundswell of thousands of candidates running on that shit so you can overcome the sabotage. You can't just have Bernie, okay? Right? Like, and you can't just be like, oh, they sabotage me. Like if you have 1,000 candidates, right? If every election had 100 Bernies running for it, they wouldn't be able to sabotage all of them, okay? But the people, though, that support Bernie aren't running. You know what I mean? The people that are like, yeah, I love Bernie. I love Bernie's policies, but they're not running for office. And we need them to run for office, okay? Because it's not about Bernie. It's not about the president. It's about the Congress and the state legislatures. That's what we need. We need like thousands of Bernie Sanders who are just regular working class people running for state legislatures and running for fucking... You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. Dude, I was there. I was alive in 2016. I watched that campaign. I watched the primaries. I watched the way people voted. I watched the way the black vote stuck with the mainstream Democratic Party. And they weren't giving Bernie a chance because they didn't trust him, right? And there weren't enough people. There weren't enough other voices, right? We didn't have Congress. We didn't have like 100 Bernies in Congress. We have one Bernie in Congress. We need 100 people like Bernie in Congress. That's what we need. And short of that, there's going to be no change. A Bernie president, we need like 100, 150 people like Bernie in Congress. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We need like 100, 200 people like Bernie in Congress. And if we don't get that, there's never going to be any change. We can argue about Bernie and the Democratic Party all day and night long, but we need 200 people that believe in the shit Bernie did getting into Congress, which means we need 5,000 people running for Congress, and then maybe 2,200 of them will eventually win, right? And we need to do that, though, at the state level, too. Like, man, if every leftist in America who complained about Bernie being sabotaged, if every one of those people ran for office and filled the airwaves with that platform and won people over in their state and local governments, if we all did that, we would be making ground, right? We would. We can't get fucking discouraged because Bernie got sabotaged or because so-and-so got sabotaged. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? It's true, man. I mean, upside down, you don't have to agree with me, but I'm just saying you can cry about Bernie all you want, and that's not going to change anything. You know, it's not. Like, we need people to run for office. You should run for office. You're so convinced that you know it all, then get out there and go win. Run for office and win that shit at your local level. Show us. You know what I mean? Don't fucking, like, wait for me to tell you. Like, you have all the answers. Just do it. Show us. You were there. You know everything about Bernie. You know all about that. So go do it. Make it fucking happen. I believe in you, right? Just quit crying about Bernie being sabotaged and go win, okay? Go win. Learn from Bernie and go win. You know what I mean? But this crying about the sabotage, we have to overcome the sabotage. You know what I'm saying? We do. We have to overcome the sabotage, you know? You're trying to tell me the truth? Well, you're telling me the truth, but we can look at the election totals, okay? The vote count totals in the primary, and in the South, like Bernie lost in the South because the same reason that like a lot of the older black voters in New York City didn't vote for Zora Mamdani. They voted for Andrew Cuomo because they're still attached to the Democratic Party, okay, that like did the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Older voters of color are staunchly like Democrat Party traditionalists. And so the Bernie movement needs to be able to win those voters in the South, okay? Because you have to be able to win the primary in the American South, in the Democratic Party, in order to win that Democratic fucking like nomination, right? And that's what's really hard is there's that weird party loyalty that happens with older voters. Now that's going to change 40 years from now when as voters age, but that definitely hampered like 2016. That was a huge fucking problem. And then in 2020, it was like Joe Biden was like, had the Obama thing, which was weird because Joe Biden's not Obama by any means. He was like the conservative white guy that they used to make Obama palatable to middle America. You know, it fucking, you know, but like, dude, I don't know. I'm just not one to like cry about like getting sabotaged, you know what I'm saying? Like even in my own life, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like even in my own life, like I went and got involved in gaming and I became famous in gaming and a bunch of people didn't like my politics. They didn't like my stance on Andrew Tate and they like sabotaged my career. But like, I'm not going to sit there and cry about that. I'm going to go ahead and fucking keep going and like make my career as I want to be. And I'm not going to let the people who sabotage me like define me, you know what I'm saying? And so it'll be real interesting to see what Bernie does. What's Bernie going to do in 2028? Who's he going to back? Right? Because if he creates this groundswell of Bernie, like who's he going to pass the torch to? And how's he going to navigate that? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I believe anybody can run for office. You know, I fight you every time that you tell me. Yeah, but so here's the thing though, upside down is like you tell me, like when we go and look at the 2016 primary, okay, of fucking Democrats, okay, if we go and look at this, right, and we go look at the presidential primaries, you can look at these states, man, and you can see the vote totals in these states, dude. Dude, Mississippi, it's 82% fucking Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you saying? You saying that that's a lie? That all those votes are fucking, right? Or wait, what was the final? That's opinion polling, sorry. Let's find the actual vote counting. You're saying that this vote counting is a lie in Mississippi, that the votes are rigged, that is a rigged election, right? If you look at the votes, like Clinton dominated in Mississippi, right? And so when you're saying that this is a lie, that Clinton did not get these Mississippi votes, right? She did not get 187,000 votes and fucking Bernie did not get 37,000. You're saying they faked the vote totals. And I'm saying I don't believe that. Okay, if that's what you're trying to say, that like they faked this vote total in the primary, I don't believe that, and I don't think you have evidence of that they faked the vote total in Mississippi, right? So I don't know what you're arguing about because we have vote counts here, and so you're saying that they lied and Bernie actually won Mississippi. So show me the proof of that. Otherwise, like, you're arguing about shit that is fucking, like, what are you even telling me? You know, or we go to fucking Louisiana. We look at Louisiana, 221,000 to 72,000. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, so are you saying that these votes are fake? Why are you not answering the question? Okay? You know what I mean? Like you're telling me that Bernie won Louisiana? Like you're full of shit. Like, stop being full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Stop, like, you know, that's why you don't have any proof. So you are effectively full of shit because you worked on Bernie's campaign and you're telling me that, like, Hillary faked 200,000 votes. Like, stop. Okay? That's fucking, I mean, come on, man. I know Bernie won Oregon. I was here in Oregon. Okay? I was here in Oregon. This is true. Bernie won Oregon. Okay? 56-42. Bernie pulled it home. Why do I get abusive? I'm not abusive. I'm just tired of being gaslighting, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of being gaslit by fucking Bernie stands, okay? Because they don't have any evidence. They say Bernie won. Hillary didn't win the primary, but we have all these votes, bro. It's not being abusive. Stop gaslighting me. Seriously. And if that's a problem, like, why are you fucking here? Don't fucking gaslight me. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. She fucking killed Bernie in Texas, all right? You're not going to win the goddamn Democratic primary if you can't win Texas. You know? It's not being abusive. Saying you're full of shit, that's not being abusive, right? Because that person is still talking about Zohran Mamdani, about Andrew Cuomo's poll numbers or something, when I'm showing you the goddamn vote totals in Texas that Bernie didn't win. You know? And like, that's a fucking problem when you're looking at these vote totals and telling me without evidence that Bernie won, and then you're on some high horse about it because Bernie didn't win. I wish Bernie had won, but like, his shit didn't resonate, you know? You know what I'm saying? And we need to get over this shit. Yeah, I'm the problem. All right, yeah, that. All right, bye-bye. Later. Smell ya. Bye-bye. Yeah. See? No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about that fucking person there that is like insisting that Bernie won these votes. And they're telling me I'm MAGA, but they're literally Donald Trump in 2020 saying Bernie won in 2016. He won all the votes. I don't have any evidence of it, but I insist because I worked on the campaign, right? And it's like, and then they're like, fuck you. They're calling me MAGA when they're like still talking about an election 8 years ago, denying the vote totals that exist. And it's like, please, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking A, bro. All right. But anyway, I'm going to go make some videos. All right? Dude, we have to get over this shit though, dude. If we're going to argue about the 2016 election, every time it turns out the way you didn't like, you're like, oh my God. You're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Like the vote totals were changed. It did escalate. But like, dude, whatever. That person already hated me anyway, so maybe it's a good escalation. Right? If they're convinced that Bernie won Texas in 2016, right? You know what I'm saying? When it's like we have these vote totals and it does not look like Bernie won Texas. You know? You know what I'm saying? All right. But whatever. Whatevs, dude. Let's go. Dude, I mean, I liked Bernie. I did. But Bernie was not winning like enough spaces in order to win that nomination. And then they fucking cucked him with superdelegates, which you knew was probably going to happen anyway. But like, he wasn't getting the fucking votes though out in the fucking real world either. You know? All right. But I just think we need to stop, right? It's like, if we're going to live in some fantasy world where we look at the Texas vote total and say, all right, Bernie didn't get 476,000 and Hillary didn't get 936,000 in Texas. But like, okay, you need to have some evidence of that, right? I have never seen any evidence that said that Hillary faked 500,000 votes in Texas. Okay. I've not fucking seen that shit, and like, so sitting there, like, I think like, like this type of shit is like not going to help us win elections when you're trying to convince people in your own party that every election is, if it works out the way you don't want it to, it was fraudulent, You know what I mean? And like, dude, I liked Bernie, but in the end, I didn't vote for him because I saw him just losing states where I was like, dude, he can't win the nomination. So I voted for Hillary, even though I did like Bernie. But I voted for Hillary because I saw that Bernie was not winning. And I was like, dude, he's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. And so I voted for Hillary, right? I liked Hillary too. She would have been a way better president than Donald Trump. But anyway, I just think this idea of like us like constantly saying that every time an election doesn't work out the way we want, it's fraudulent now. I don't think that's a tenable long-term position. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a tenable long-term position. And Killer, my thing about it is I don't really care if people are corporate or non-corporate. I would like a non-corporate, but in the end, I just want somebody who can win. And, Hillary could have won, but she got a little arrogant. And Donald Trump made a very good strategic move of he started sort of running Bernie Sanders' campaign as a Republican. Like I thought, you ready for this, guys? I know this is revolutionary, but I thought Bernie should have run as a Republican because he was an independent. And I thought Bernie should have run as a Republican because his message really resonated with right-wing voters, and he could have fucking pulled right-wing voters to left populism. If he had run as a goddamn Republican instead of a Democrat, that would have been great. He would have fucked the Republicans. He would have brought the right-wing people that were in the middle to the left, and then thereby he would have forced the Democratic Party to the left to try and fucking win. His message resonated with white rural voters. He should have done that, man. He could have blown the fucking Republican Party to fucking smithereens, bro. That's what I think. That's what I think, man. But too little, too late. I don't know. Maybe he runs as a Republican in 2028, dude. He could fucking detonate their party, dude. He would beat J.D. Vance, guys. Can you imagine? Oh, shit, bro. Right? They love Trump the bully. Yeah, but Bernie can kind of be a bully, dude. He can kind of be a bully, man. I think Bernie's got it in him. But all right, I'm going to go make some videos. Dude, now if somebody hates me, a Bernie Sanders fans hates me, that's not the first, man. I have a lot of Bernie Sanders fans that hate me. A lot of Bernie bros do not like me. But all right, I love you guys, though. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? If I had $1 for every Bernie bro who called me MAGA, dude, I would be rich. Let's go, baby. We got to win 2026. Let's go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.